Hi, everybody. Welcome back to an episode of Big Apple Hockey. Unfortunately, I will be riding solo today. So I'm going to introduce myself as usual. My name is Mark Williams. I'm your host for today. And uh, due to scheduling conflicts and stuff like that, that's why you're going to be stuck looking at my ugly face. Hold on one second. And there it goes. Because in order to look at the poll that we set up, who do you prefer the New York Rangers play in the playoffs? And what's some of the effects of last night's loss to the Carolina Hurricanes, which gave the Carolina Hurricanes the Metropolitan Division? But we're going to start with that and go right to there. So the New York Rangers last night, oh, by the way, after most games starting, he's done it all season long anyway, but in the playoffs, John Falkowski, the final buzzer with John Falkowski. Watch that. John does a great job with late night pucks and talking and just breaking down a game with you. So, and I know you guys enjoy it because you've been watching them a lot. This Sunday, no matter what, either I'm doing a video that's pre-recorded or I'm going to go live. I don't know the time. It could be as early as 2:00 that we're going to do a playoff preview. So can't wait to have you guys have that ready for you. But last night, the New York Rangers lost to the Carolina Hurricanes 4-3. Canes went up 4-1, and it looked like they had the game in hand. The Rangers sat Artemi Panarin and Andrew Kopp. They both left in the second period. No word on them right now. It could just be precautionary things, and that's what is probably most likely. Chris Kreider scored his 52nd goal of the season. That ties him with Adam Gray's second most in New York Rangers history. He's got 2 games to get 3 goals to get to 55. Think he could do it? Do you think he could do it? Throw it all in the comments right now. And the New York Rangers will finish. It's weird to say the words will finish. I mean, there's 2 more games remaining, and yet we know exactly where they're going to be. They're locked into the second seed in the Metro Division. Right now, 108 points. Most they can get is 112. And it's just weird just knowing exactly where they are, but it's a good thing because I'll get to that in a second. The Rangers goal differential plus 47. There are other numbers that we're going to be crunching very shortly about them and how they've done since the trade deadline. Spoiler alert, really well. And I just can't wait to actually just crunch all these numbers down with you. The Rangers will face the Washington Capitals or the Pittsburgh Penguins right now on YouTube. Go on there, check to see who do you want to play in the playoffs. You got 2 choices. It's either going to be the Pittsburgh Penguins or the Washington Capitals. That's where the great news is. The Capitals playing well as of late. Penguins, not so much. And right now we're at 67% for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Keep on throwing them down there. And going to check out some of these comments right now. D. Ely, yep, as a Hurricanes fan, I like to see the Rangers play the Caps first. Dating back to 80s hockey. Yeah, the Pens, the first time the Rangers ever beat the Pittsburgh Penguins in 2014. That's why even with them forcing Game 7, I wasn't convinced it was going to happen until Henrik Lundqvist made that armpit save, if you guys remember that. That was an outstanding save. And, oh, hey, Z. And, yeah, by the way, Core, I got to agree with you on that one. And that's going to be kind of a theme with a lot of these playoff predictions that I'm going to be making. It's he's one of those guys. I don't know how you beat him 4 times in a series, but I do have a team that is going to beat the New York Rangers when eventually we make our full Stanley Cup predictions. So it feels very weird flying solo today. And of course, not using this as an episode of NHL Snipes where I do 20 minutes of recording and 3 hours of editing. But this is going to work out a little bit. Obviously, Phil's got a new work schedule. Anthony is unavailable today, and I was sick last week, so all those things combined for us to actually miss not having a show net last week. So So here's the question that I kind of got to throw out there. Are the Rangers a dangerous playoff team? And I got to use the word dangerous because you look at some of these are their season numbers, how they've done so far. 25.8% on the power play. They were second in the league as of last week, but I think the 0 for 5 against Carolina last night is the burp came out of nowhere. Don't get old, guys. I've had burps from water. So anyway, but uh, they were second in the league. Now they're down to fourth, 82.2%. They're still top 10 in the NHL on the penalty kill. There is a slight bit of bad news with that one as far as that number comes out. I'll get to that in 1 second. But if you look at them since the trade deadline, the Rangers 11-5-1. Goal differential is a plus 19. They've skyrocketed their goal differential. It's been amazing. Their 2.35 goals per game against is the best in the league since then. And their faceoff numbers have actually gone up almost by 2%. Now, some people tell you faceoff numbers are like, they're not that important. To me, they are. It means you're gaining possession right away. And you saw that last night with the Carolina Hurricanes, who on the season are at 53.6%. That's the one thing I did not put in here. So the Rangers, the next 2 games, I want to see you guys in the comments. Can you tell me whether or not you think you're really going to see any stars over the next 2 games? Artemi Panarin sitting at 96 points. It'd be great if you got 4 points. I don't think he's gonna be playing much more. And Andrew Kopp, we'll see you on either Monday or Tuesday, whichever day the playoffs are going to start for the Rangers. I'm going to go with some of these comments right now. Actually, before I'm going to go with the comments, then I'm going to go back to that the numbers the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Washington Capitals have been putting up since the break. Yeah. Mike, I love that one. Nemeth hasn't hurt a Ranger goalie. Yay. Well, he shouldn't hurt a Ranger goalie, especially when Justin Braun should be playing in his place. Gene saying, do the Rangers need to play a more physical game against the Canes? Yeah, they actually do. The Canes did a great job in both not being rattled last night and when the Rangers started getting momentum, not giving them much momentum. And what I'm referring to is the first period where and the Canes had the puck in the Rangers zone for a while, but there wasn't really like dangerous chances. And then there was the post hit by Teravainen. And then the Rangers go back the other way. They sustain some pressure. Panarin puts that out 2 outstanding moves on Jacob Slavin and nearly gets a backdoor goal by Mika Zibanejad. But then that was it for pretty much the first period. The Canes pretty much had control of the first period. Now, did they also tighten up? I don't know. It's they might have played a little bit tighter because they had their third string goalie in, and the kid's a second round pick. I had his name for a second. Now I have to go. It's Peter. Oh, because I wanted to make sure I pronounce it right. Kochetov. Peter Kochetov. So I did not butcher a name or call him Justin. And, teams like that could do that. And who knows, maybe this is a Matt Murray situation where they go to their third string goaltender and then suddenly the guy just takes off. Stanley Cup finals are full of guys like that. I mean, look no further than for the Canes and Cam Ward. He had 15 wins as a rookie in the playoffs. So it could happen. Yes, should have gotten Justin Huberdeau to help me today, which, by the way, we're going to have some MVP conversations and Coach of the Year conversations coming up later. What he was at the game last night? Yeah, it's Philk has been on Patrick Nemeth since the moment the Rangers signed him. And to be honest with you, I kind of agree with him. I never really saw Patrick Nemeth play. I think I've used this term. Patrick Nemeth would be a better defenseman 15 years ago, but it's not. It's now. The game's played differently. I don't think he's I don't think he really has the agility to handle much. So, uh, yeah, and seems very GT's handling. Which one is this one, Gene? It's my buddy sent the game. Said Patrick. Sorry, this is great audio right now for the people listening at home later. Or on iTunes or Spotify. You can always check us on iTunes on Spotify. But the real preseason, the 2-game preseason is going to begin right now. You're going to see a lot of guys getting ice time, like Alexei Lafreniere, who's going to be going for his 20th goal in the season. More on him in a little bit. And I mean, there's a lot to unpack still from last night. So let's go with what has happened at the trade since the trade deadline for their upcoming opponents, and look at the Pittsburgh Penguins, who are under 500. How are the Pittsburgh Penguins under 500 since the trade deadline? 7-9-2, and they actually have a negative goal differential. Oh no, they don't. They don't. They had an 11-2 win, which helped that. But 5-1 loss last night to the Edmonton Oilers. Are they trying to get the Florida Panthers? That's what I'm confused about. Because if you're trying to go for the Florida Panthers, go right ahead, because that team is going to be a monster, and we're going to be talking more about them in the Bar Talk segment. But the Capitals have been okay. The status on Alexander Ovechkin is in the dark. I'm assuming he's a gamer. He's going to be ready for the playoffs. But their goaltending is going to be an issue. Both these teams have goaltenders that, in my opinion, are issues. And the funny thing is, last year I was praising Tristan Jarry. That never will happen again after that Islander series. So I'm hoping to have this video up for you guys this week, and then I'm going to take some more comments. That a look at the Chris Kreider breakdown of his goals. One thing, in my opinion, he's done is he's kind of abandoned that Chris Kreider signature wrist shot that he always took from outside the house. And when he has used it, he's moved it. It's like moved to different areas. I got lots of video that we broke down for that. I was hoping to have it ready for you last week, but didn't really happen. And also, for any of the Islander fans that are tuning in right now, we're going to have a full breakdown when Anthony comes back, so that way you know where the Islanders are going from here. So let me get some more comments right now. And again, are the Rangers a dangerous playoff team in your opinion? And right now we're at 75% of people that are saying they want the Pittsburgh Penguins instead of the Washington Capitals. So let's go with some of these. Yeah, Sammy Blais. Oh, God. If Sammy Blais can somehow come back, and the last word that I had was Tyler Mott should be available at least in the first round, if not right away. His injury was April 8th, I think it was, or April 7th. I have to go back and check, but that's about a 4-week injury. I kept on. Yeah. By the way, thanks, D. Pyotr Kochekov. Now I screwed it up because I'm trying to read it again. This is why you should always have. Oh, I should have been a better reader anyway. But, see, I think the Rangers have the grit. It's just, I don't think they had it last night. I think with Mott in the lineup, and yes, Sammy Blais is right there. If he could somehow come back, Reeves had that penalty against Brady Shea. That kind of didn't help things last night and really kind of kept it all going in Carolina's direction. Carolina does not let you gain momentum. And that's one thing about them. And now the funny thing is when you see them like the last couple weeks, the Jets were up, I believe, 2-0 on them, and so were the Devils. And in both cases, just Carolina wears you down. They're a little bit like the 2014 LA Kings. And the carbon copy of them is sitting up in Calgary right now. But that's the danger of Carolina. And the Rangers have a history always making a third string goalie look amazing. I mean, remember Michael Brodeur for the Ottawa Senators that got his first NHL shutout versus the Rangers. I think it was like his second game. Christy, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. However, beats Sturk in 4 games. That's going to be tough. I know that 3 of their wins are against Sturkin too, by the way, but you know, I'm going to point back to this for everybody. You know, the play-in rounds a couple years ago, the Rangers handled the Carolina Hurricanes, and almost seemingly for a decade, they were handling the Carolina Hurricanes very easily. What happens when they go to the play-in round? Brady Shea hits Jesper Fast. The entire season changed in the complexion of that game. Carolina wins. I think it was 3-2 that they won because, yeah, it was Fox and Stahl that scored goals. And then what happens? They whip him in game 2 that with behind the Svechnikov hat trick. And then it was game 3. I mean, Sebastian Aho just embarrassed Tony DeAngelo. It was ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And there's still the goalie controversy of whether or not you should have started Lundqvist or started Georgiev or started Shesterkin. Well, if you got 2 goalies, you don't got 1. That's the simple way to put that one. So, and by the way, yeah, Kochetov, I had to think about it again. Kochetov was a 2nd-round draft pick, and he came out of the Russian league. He's the guy that succeeded Shesterkin in Russia. So that should be interesting. But yeah, I agree with you on that one, Mike. Nemeth is barely a traffic cone. Tampa could drop to the wild card, but you don't discount Boston. Boston's putting things together right now. Boston is looking very good. So you got to see whether or not I promise not to do too many uhs, by the way, but it's you gotta you can make a case for every one of the teams in the Eastern Conference to go all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals. I don't think that's going to happen. There's 2 teams I kind of rule out right away, but that's a different story. I'm going to save that for Sunday. Offseason thought, Vinny Trocheck as Strome walks. Oh, I'd love to see Trocheck as a Ranger, but that's going to be an interesting situation. And the job might be there for Andrew Kopp. By the way, I have not 1, but 2 tumblers in front of me, one with iced coffee and one with water. So I'll have to get all those out. Imagine if Loft actually got power play time. Dave, I'm going to come back to that comment again because that'll be part of the bar talk segment. Core, you're 100% right. All the Ranger fans wanted Raquel. As a matter of fact, I had this like verbal jousting match with text with a friend of mine who was saying it's a shame that the Rangers didn't get Raquel because he would have been a real difference. I think he would have been a real difference maker. And my reply was, are you kidding me? Now, granted, the Rangers didn't do what I thought they were going to do with Andrew Kopp. I think Andrew Kopp's a better player anyway. But I thought Kopp was going to go to the 3rd line, center that line, and elevate them. Instead, they've thrown him on the right wing with Panarin. And, I mean, most points of any player that was moved at the trade deadline since the trade deadline. That's amazing. He's been a revelation, and he's been taking faceoffs late in the game too. That's also been helping. Yes, a lot needs to get power play time. Has a pretty accurate shot and can snipe it. We're going to be going back to Lafreniere again more when I do the one-man bar talk segment. I'm gonna miss Trocheck, and yes, part of the problem, it's funny with the Canes because they seem to be a well-managed team, but they got no cap space. Was Jesperi Kotkaniemi really worth losing Vinny Trocheck? And I'm going to have, hopefully, when the Rangers play the Canes, or hopefully the Canes get upset in the first round would be nice, that I would have my friend and our Hurricanes blogger, Pete Mackin, to come on and talk about that. But He also abandoned taking out goalies, which is a bit disappointing. Okay. Yeah. And by the way, Mike, you're saying it right here. That's 100% right. And I don't think it matters who they face. And again, you don't want to run from any teams. You want to finish the best you can so that way you get the most points that you can. So that way you can get the most home ice that you can. And even though the Rangers have a very good road record, they only have 8 losses at home. Keep that in mind. And I know traditionally speaking, everybody gets up from Madison Square Garden, but so do the Rangers. they get up for it too. And having the last change and having those matchups always could work as well. So yeah, they possibly could have beaten Carolina. But you know what? You saw them in the middle of the first period. They decided to prioritize health over whether or not they can win that game. And that's the thing too. And I'm saying that because Panarin was already off the bench by the time Kopp went to the bench. There was footage of Kopp going to the bench. There wasn't footage of Panarin going to the bench, which I can't believe that they were able to get that. But by the way, the referees were terrible last night. Just everything. And they either called it tight or they called it loose. It's pick whichever one it is. The first period is there so that way the teams can understand what they're in for. So, and yes, the Rangers always got to, because if you're not driving the net, you're not getting penalties. It's the same rules as basketball. Jump shooting teams from the outside don't get fouls. Well, you know what? If you're not driving the net, nobody's gonna really try to stop you. So they're not going to try to be desperate, get a holding call, get a slashing call, get a hooking call. So, no. That's a quick answer. No, you go with your guy. And I know we were talking about this with. Now, by the way, for anybody listening on iTunes or Spotify, the question is: do you start Georgiev against the Canes? He shut us out. No, I remember when Henrik Lundqvist couldn't beat the Canadiens. Henrik Lundqvist. Oh no! Well, you got to go with the backup. No, you play Henrik Lundqvist. Are you out of your mind? And you're talking about the guy who, in one of the most offensive seasons the NHL has had, probably in about 15 to 16 years, he's got a 2.07 goals against average. He is the difference maker every single night. He's a Hart Trophy candidate and or the Hart Trophy winner, according to a lot of writers out there. And we're going to bench him in favor of Alexander Georgiev? Alexander Georgiev is he loses confidence on one shot that'll beat him, and then he's toast the rest of the game. Everybody else can see this. Or what happens? Or Georgiev wins one game and then has a bad second game and then demands a trade midway through the third game. So, yeah, by the way, you're right about this one. Jacob Slavin is one of the best defensive defensemen in the league if they actually decide to make a Rod Langway award for best defensive defenseman, which they should, by the way. Jacob Slavin would be on the short list to be able to get there. And Breadman just went inside out all over him. So, puck skill handling. All right. By the way, we're at 71% of people that are asking for Sidney Crosby right now. Give me either Pittsburgh or Washington. I hope we just don't face Carolina. Well, Dave, we might have to face Carolina anyway. And you know what? They were my prediction to win the Stanley Cup last year. They lost in the second round. You got to play the best. You want to be the best, you got to play the best. And you're not going to get a actually, I thought the 2000 New Jersey Devils kind of had the easiest path to the Stanley Cup Finals, but that's also maybe a little bit of bias on my opinion. But yeah. But by the way, Chris T, I like that prediction. I'll be putting that up in a second. But you need one with vodka. Yeah, I do. But not really this early, although if I was playing golf, it would be a different story. to have the 2 tumblers set up. I'm now like, ever since I've gotten like a tumbler, I'm like all on Team Tumbler now. Terrible. So again, only 30% of people saying the Washington Capitals. I'm a little bit surprised about that. I'm going to keep this poll going all the way through the bar talk because that is going to be one of our conversation topics in there. Blues versus Canes in the Stanley Cup final. That is not a bad prediction. And I had the Blues versus the Florida Panthers. I almost called them the Carolina Panthers. But yeah, it's the Blues have been playing really well, and I really don't want to hear it, but Pavel Buchnevich has played great. Great for Pavel Buchnevich, but the Rangers need to focus on developing Kakko and Lafreniere, and even though they still didn't do that, you couldn't hold on to Buch and keep things going. Oh, okay. Kreider, I was making a joke. All right, I got that one. Vetrano, sneaky good addition. Yeah, Vetrano, sneaky good addition. Plays a lot of north-south games, no hesitation. I tell you what, I think he's been a great fit for that line. He is fit like a glove, and he's not afraid to let it go. And he had he almost converted a great pass from Kreider the other day or last night, and yeah, Loft, when he actually played power play one, recently drew a penalty and set up a goal. Imagine if he could play there. Yeah, because by the way, that's part of the thing about Ryan Strome. If Ryan Strome is getting paid, let's say $6 million, because he look, the numbers he's been putting up, he deserves a raise. However, the numbers he could put up in the future, you take Ryan Strome off power play one, that's going to kill some of his production. And then now imagine the Rangers paying him $6.5 million and him getting 40 points. That excite anybody? And even though Lafreniere or Kakko, whoever one of them, could take that spot, it's just no. That's why I keep going back to Ryan Strome. Thank you very much. Because the Rangers have made a bad decision like this in the past already. I said back in 2015 on All Things Rangers that the Rangers had Callahan, Girardi, Marc Stahl, one forward and 2 defensemen, both of them heavy shot blockers, grinded out type of players, physical players. You could take the contract that they gave Girardi, which was also similar to one I believe that they had for Callahan at 6.25 million. And then, sorry guys, I'm doing this from memory on this one. I just started talking about this. And but then you can't give it to Marc Stahl. Marc Stahl was at the time just injury riddled. And I credit Marc Stahl, by the way, for getting to 1,000 games. I still can't help but always look at his career and think, what if he didn't get X injury, not the concussion, not the eye. Oh, certainly not the eye. God, I remember watching that live and being just horrified. And then he came back to the 2013 playoffs a couple times. He played all right. I mean, given everything that happened, 2014 he played very well. 2015 he played very well. But then after that, you don't renew him. You don't renew him for 2015. And though it sucked, you shouldn't have done that. All right. It's about all the home ice that we could get. Yes. Wow, I went all the way down. John, hey, how's it going? Sorry, guys. Usually this goes a little bit more fluid when Philk is doing the solo shows, or even Anthony. They're really the stronger ones at doing this than me. So I hope this is all coming out all right. The Canes with Ned last year, the Canes did that with Ned last year, and it cost them against the Lightning. They should have started Reimer in net and beat them 4 times in the regular season. Honestly, I got to say it like this. If your season hinged on James Reimer, then that's it's sort of like I when I say the thing, if something X is the answer, what the hell is the question? James Reimer hasn't been the number one since Toronto. So Refs equals no consistency, but there hasn't been consistency in the NHL as far as the referee has been going all year. So, but we know things. They it's they're going to be swallowing their whistles in a week. By the way, Core, I already see this and I'm going to go off. Okay. You're out of your mind. You're out of your mind because you have a goalie that you just signed to a 7-year extension who is arguably the best goalie in your franchise history. Why? Because Talbot was hot for 2 months? I mean, unbelievable. I have seen this with Ranger fans for so long. Oh, we should have started against Tampa? Why? How do you know he wasn't going to get lit up? He got lit up his only playoff appearance for the Rangers in 2014 when he couldn't make a save at all versus Montreal when he took over for Hank when he got pulled. No, absolutely no. You go with the guy that got you there. And by the way, I don't know if you noticed or all the other Talbot heads noticed. This is the reason why I hate Cam Talbot is Cam Talbot is on like his 9th freaking team since then. I know it's his fourth team since he left the New York Rangers. So it's not like you got this like pillar of consistency, but I don't know if anybody else noticed, but the Henrik Lundqvist that showed up in games 4, 5, 6, and 7 was pretty damn good. And he saved their ass in 4 and 6. Could he have done something in 7? I don't know. Or 5? Could he have scored a goal? They lost 2-0 both times. Yeah, Cam Talbot was the difference. You know what? All right, hold on. Let me give you this. Game 3, Henrik wasn't great. Game 2, Henrik wasn't great. Henrik was great in game 1. But no, Cam Talbot was the answer. By the way, if Cam Talbot would have been in the series against the Washington Capitals, they were done in 5. And yes, that was the only time you could bench Hank. I have a lot of those fights at the bar. By the way, Cora, thanks for dealing with me. It's just, and Slavin is the best. I gotta say, if John D, you're saying that if the Penguins lose, this is the end of the end of their era. It could be. It could be. Core, I 100% agree with you on that one. 100%. By the way, that might be a DVR series. Like, just set it and go right in on that. The Rangers' key to the playoffs is 5-on-5 average play, and if the power play gets stagnated, the Rangers will not go too far. Yeah, well, the thing is, even if you're going against the number 1 penalty killing team in the league, like they did last night, or the number 3 penalty killing team, let me make sure that there's still number 3 in the Pittsburgh Penguins, because their penalty killing actually got better after everything. Yeah, the Penguins are number 3 at 85%. They're like, those are the times that you need your power play to click, especially when it's a number 4 power play. But always, goals against end up canceling goals scored. It just happens like that in the playoffs. A great offensive team doesn't stay offensively consistent. But by the way, Cora, once again, I can't wait to make a prediction on that one. I know you're probably going to have on your channel, if you don't follow him, check him out. But if that's good luck trying to predict that one. I'm actually going to go, I'm leaning towards the Blues because I've been a believer in the Blues the entire time. But I mean, Marc-Andre Fleury's changed a lot of things in Minnesota. So we're going to get to the bar talk in a minute, guys. I'm going to do about like 5 more comments. And let's assume McKay, Gauthier, and Bras play tonight. What are the lines? I think Breadman's sitting. I think Breadman is done for the season. We'll see it. It might be him next week. It's a shame because I think he'd be the 7th New York Ranger to score 100 points. SK, Yager, Rattel, Leach. I gotta try to. I remembered 7 for some reason, but it would be a shame for him not to get 100, but there's more important things to go ahead on. Honestly, it's irrelevant. I don't care. Loft goes up to the second line. Maybe Kako could come back. I was hearing Kako's gonna come back. That's one information I should have looked up right away. I'm not gonna give you guys more dead air right now. No, not Hat. Did Hatfield get 100? I think only. I think Hatfield. By the way, great picture, Jeffrey. I think Hatfield got 100. Didn't get 100. I think he had 50 points. By the way, talk about that easy question. The last time the Rangers had 4 players over 70 points, 94. So he did? Okay. All right. So then Gilbert probably got on there. So you know what? This is why I try to do all my stat packs beforehand. Oh, but I hate being wrong. It's the worst thing. That's why I don't go in relationships anymore. So, hey, Sean, how you doing? Rick, it's actually a lot better than what you think. The Rangers they're 3-1 against Penguins. They're 2-1 against the Capitals. They're playing their 4th game on Friday. They're 1-3 against the Hurricanes. That's the one that troubles you. But they're 2-1 against Florida. They're 3-0 versus Tampa. They're 2-1 against the Bruins and 2-1 against the Maple Leafs. There you go. If it's Western Conference teams, who gives a rat's ass? You only have to play one of them. That's not exactly the best way of looking at it, but still. By the way, everybody, thanks for joining me on the solo show today. Obviously, wish I had the full crew with me, but want to make sure that there's content in you, so you're on here, so you're not forgetting about us. But so again, hey, Sean, backup goalie, Ranger, to the Ranger. Yeah, well, and that's true. I mean, because God help you if the star isn't the greatest thing. But by the way, that's not entirely true all the time, because you didn't have anybody clamoring to get rid of Eli Manning for years. But also Eli Manning had those 2 Super Bowl rings to kind of flash. So. Yes. Cora just said, I should have said there because I agree. Yeah, my point was the only time it was arguable. Okay. Yeah, that's the only time it was arguable. You still go with your number one. You don't go to the dance and then try to find a new girl when you get there. That's not going to work. It's like people that bring in beers to the bar, and I look at them like, what are you doing? You're in a bar. You can't have an outside drink. Oh, I didn't know. You didn't know? You didn't know? Because you drink down in my bar, and then what happens? I'm then liable for your drink, even though I didn't serve it to you. I bet you guys didn't know that. Then you go off, you crash your car, you kill somebody, and there you go. Fortunately, right now I am not charging fees, Sean, for joining the Chris Kreider fan club. It's definitely me. There's lots of other people, though. Congratulations to Chris Kreider on earning the Stephen McDonald Award. And I just want to say this on a side note, and I'm grateful that the NHL didn't go too crazy a couple years ago when the political climate was boiling up about police, because I'm so happy this is still the Stephen McDonald Award, a guy who exemplifies the bravery and sacrifice that it takes to be a New York City police officer. Thank you all for the at the New York City PD and NYPD. And that's why I like doing the hashtag with NYPD whenever it comes down to Andrew Kopp, who, by the way, the New York Rangers really need to resign. And it's something that it's my favorite night every single time of the year. And It's great to see people that are recognized by that and who's won it the most times, as was the trivia question yesterday. No surprise, it was the man that sacrificed probably more than any other New York Ranger I've ever known, Adam Graves, and continues to be a giver to this organization long after he stopped skating for them. So it's amazing. Uh Yeah, if you need a nap, watch the Hockey News podcast. Uh, not that, not that I even want to brag or anything else like that, but we have our numbers that'll beat their numbers at times. So, and the thing is, we haven't caught on to the algorithm as much. So, we're not established, and we're not getting paid for this. We got to do this in our spare time. Oh, you know what? See, Jeffrey, thank you, because this is why I needed to get there. So the New York Rangers that scored 100 points in the season: Jean Rattel, Jaromir Jagr, Marc Messier, Brian Leetch, Mike Rogers, and Vic Hatfield. So that's why it got to 7. Yeah, that's why he would have been the 7th. That's why, thank you, because it was the one thing I did not look up today. Don't do live streams completely by memory. It doesn't work that well. Yeah, and Vic Hatfield. I'm a little bit surprised it wasn't Rod Gilbert though that season, but whatever. Mike Rogers, everybody forgets about, and John Weber. You're right. Mike Rogers is. I honestly I forget about his career as a New York Ranger, and he was a very good New York Ranger. Uh, people said Igor should have won it, but I'm sorry. Yeah, he'll get his chance at some point. Kreider deserves it totally for this. Yeah, and and I put on the post. I still do post for all things Rangers, even though like we're trying to do as much as I can for Big Apple Hockey because we're trying to reach out and do league wide stuff. But when it comes to this, it's the one award that all the New York Rangers really want to win. It's that it's what it means for sacrifice and dedication to your sport. And if I recall correctly, Adam Graves won it the most, and I want to say Jed Ortmeyer is second, or Ryan Callahan is second. But you get the guys that look. Cam Talbot won this award and deserved it that year. He did. No matter how many times he passed the puck to the other team, a la Tristan Jarry. And if you don't believe me, look at that game in February where John Tavares scored 11 seconds in. So if there's anything, by the way, Cop, who's he? I believe there was a commenter we had on our podcast and pages that constantly said, "Go get Andrew Copp. Go get Andrew Copp." Anybody know who that was? But anyway, yeah, and thank you, by the way, for everybody serving as a police officer, whether it's in Smithfield, North Carolina, or in Arizona DPS Highway Patrol. Thank you very much to my brother Dan. And hell, half my clientele at my Wonton bar. All right, agreed. Cop on Cop and let Strom walk. And we're gonna do these last two. We're gonna go to the part talk after that. The reason you guys aren't fitting into the algorithm as much is because YouTube is trash. It doesn't support live streams as much. Actually, I was told live streams is where like we should be going. But yes, YouTube is trash. That's a different story. Actually, in general, social media is really kind of slanted. You ever notice that? However, maybe that might be changing. We don't know. Careful what we wish for, because we just might get it. And this week's news on the Twitter rebranding and changing. Because after all, if that could be a whole can of worms. That's just opening. So we'll find out about that. By the way, hey Granny. Yeah, and by the way, Core, 100%. 100%. By the way, sometime we gotta find a way to get you on with us. So but that was a great game. I think they went think they went down. I'm trying to remember if it was they were down 2-0 or 3-0 in the first. And then they came. Yeah, I think it was 3-0. Then McDonough scored in the first period. I think there was another one. By the way, Granny, thank you, by the way, on the first comment on the tribute video. Yes, I've been trying to get a tribute video out for Mike Bossy for a while because after all, like I said, we're trying to do the Islanders, we're trying to do the Rangers, we're trying to be more of a league-wide influence. But also it's, it's seeing when Guy Lafleur went down, or passed away, I should say. And it was just sad, but I thought about his comeback when he went back to the Forum and the great ovation that he had. But if you haven't watched it, it's on our channel. It's entitled just the tribute to Bossy, Clark Gillies, Jean Potvin, and Guy Lafleur. But yeah, absolutely, Cora. I'll definitely do that for you. But set to Garth Brooks, The Dance. As I look back on that now, I kind of wish I had more footage of Gilbert and Emile Francis in there as well. The hockey world's already lost too many great players over the last year and the last couple years, and it's been sad. All right, so we are going to break off from this, and guys, since there is nobody with me, I would like your comments in there during the Bar Talk segment. Sounds good? All right. Whoops. I hit the ticker again, and let's go.
I'm going to take a shot on this one.
I'm going to say beer. I'm buying everybody around on this. Oh, my God.
So welcome back, everybody, to Big Apple Hockey's Bar Talk, where we gauge our confidence on NHL topics based on our choice of drink. And this time, I want you guys to be much more interactive with me than ever, because it's not just about my opinion. I would love to know what you're thinking as well. And also, after most Ranger games, you can get the final buzzer with John Falkowski, where he does his interactive post-game Rangers talk. Check out his good, bad, and ugly game reviews. But it's been a great season already. We're perfecting our formats, and we're going to be doing more expansion on it in the future. By the way, right now it's starting to even out a little bit. The Pittsburgh Penguins at 60% and the Washington Capitals at 40%. Who do you want to see in the first round? Put it up on the poll that's right over here. So we're going to start with this one. Alexei Lafreniere is actually having a good season for the New York Rangers, and I'm going to buy everybody around on that one, because if you look at his numbers, 18 goals, 0 of them on the power play. He only has 2 power play points and 12 assists. By the way, 12 assists. He didn't play that long with Kreider and Zibanejad. 30 points. He's 8th on the Rangers. 4 game-winning goals. That was a huge number. That jumped out at me when I saw that. And a 28% shooting percentage, which means you need to shoot the puck more, kid. But it's, I got to go with this. This kid is actually having a pretty good year. And I know Ranger fans just want to label him as a bust. I don't know why, because he's not Connor McDavid from day one. There's a reason why it's called development. And sometimes the product from development, you might not see it for years. Check Marc Savard. You might not see it at all. Check pretty much every other Ranger draft pick in that era. Jamie Lundmark. And then you might see it like again by the time you maybe he's just not in the right situation. And right now, yeah, he's not in the right situation. Natural position's left wing. The Rangers had that in spades to start. If he was a right wing or a center, that would have been better. And again, like we said before on past podcasts, that the Rangers were not going to jump ahead of the central scouting to go get Lucas Raymond or go get Trevor Zegras I think that was the Kakko draft. It's It wasn't going to happen, guys. You go with number 1, number 2. You go with either number 1 or number 2. Very rarely do people like Nolan Patrick was supposed to go number 1, and the Devils surprised some people by going with Nico Hischier. They made the right decision. So I just got to buy everybody around on that one. Let me see what some of you guys are saying right now. So, yeah. No. Yeah, got to buy everybody around on that one, Granny. Core, round easily. If he had power play time or even a quarter of chances, he'd set up his line mates and actually buried chances. He'd have 50 points easy. Yes. Because, by the way, that's one of those reasons why I say all the time that Filipino, I just don't think he's the answer. And again, if you look at my face, the same way I kind of said this about Buchnevich. I said about Buchnevich because they need to move on from him in order to pay other people and keep it going, the developments. But this one, Filipino, I like the guy. I really like Filipino. The guy's a great kid. Not going to be doing it here. So they just got to do that. Yeah, I understand that, Ely. He said, I still say the Rangers need to look at their development coaches. The reason I understand that, but then again, I'm going to go to the Florida Panthers, who have been great with developing players, and their head of development is Gregory Campbell, who wasn't known as being this outstanding development guy. I mean, if they somehow waste their opportunities on these two players, then, and by the way, those two players I mean are Kako and Lafreniere. Obviously, Kravtsov has got different issues. Their defensive development has been very good, especially for the last 10, 15 years. But the fact that Chris Kreider was their first homegrown 30 goal scorer, 30 goal scorer since Tony Amonte. And when Statboy Stevens said that to me, I was shocked. And then researching it, yep, that's it. So, I mean, there aren't many 30 goal scorers over the last 30 years for the New York Rangers anyway. I mean, I remember when Lindros did it, Radek Dvorak did it. Well, then Yager, of course, Peter Pruka, Gaborik, 2 40-goal seasons. Rick Nash, 40 goals. I think Rick Nash had 2 40-goal seasons. Brad Richards, so again, they'll send him down or trade him. These past few games, Lop is showing why. Yes, again. And I put up a tweet about this saying that people want to say that Lop's a bust, but he's a no power play time. That helps immensely. Lop just needed to be consistent in his minutes. And yeah, he'll go on through growing pains like every young player does. The reason why he went number 1. He also looks like, mentally speaking, he can handle the game. And he made another great move last night on trying to think which defenseman it was that he just blew right by him. And the move he made on Dylan Larkin, obviously in the Detroit game. What a play. And that's where you got to lock him up for just assault and abusing a player. If Steve Yzerman, if Steve Yzerman was the GM and took someone that's not a consensus pick, that's the only time I'd trust that pick. That's right. And after all, Steve Yzerman did that with Morris Sider. So one last one, then we're going to move on to the next topic. I feel every player development has improved this season. Drury revamped the department and scouting as soon as he was promoted. And yeah. And Drury seems to have a philosophy that he wants to adhere to. I'm not sure that was with Gorton. And I know JD does have one because he had one in Columbus. He had one in St. Louis. Yeah. So I don't know. The Wings look amazing. Now Larkin's done for the year. And that's what I was saying. Yep. All right. We're going to move on to this one. The New York Islanders, Ilya Sorokin should get serious Vezina consideration. Guys, I'm buying everybody around on this one because, yeah, he should. Serious, here's I didn't actually put on the list of everybody, but I'll do that again in a second. Now, when I say serious, that he should be, it wouldn't be a show if I didn't at least hit the tripod once. When I say serious consideration, he should probably end up being a finalist. This is Igor Shesterkin's award, period. There is no, the number 2 is still distant, and number 2 is still pretty good goalie. But you look at those numbers that Sorokin's put up on a non-playoff team: 2.35 goals against, 4th in the NHL, 0.92 save, 7 save percentage, 2nd in the NHL, 7 shutouts, 2nd in the NHL. A team that can't score on a team that had a lot of problems in the month of December, especially. And those are great numbers. Those are great numbers. He should get, if he's not 3rd place, he should be 4th. And by the way, I think he should be 3rd. I think he's better than Freddie Anderson this year. Sorry to some of the Carolina fans that might be watching. Nope. Freddie Anderson, not as good as Ilya Sorokin. And also, the only guy I put ahead of, well, again, the distant second is still Jacob Markstrom to me. Jacob Markstrom's had a great season over in Calgary, and he's one of those reasons why Calgary is doing so well right now. So hopefully they keep it going, and see what is going to come from there. What do you guys think on that? All right. Who's the top 5 goalies? I didn't say a number 5. Wow. Ugh. All right, I got to come up with a number 5 on the spot. I'm going to cheat and go to the league leaders for a second. Hey, by the way, number 5 should probably be Jack Campbell because he started out well. Number 5 might be Freddie Anderson. I mean, Jeremy Swayman's had a great year, but he's been kind of down the last 2 months. Darcy Kemper, I just, he's not really on the eye test for me. I don't know. Number 5 is going to be too hard to guess. Thanks for throwing me on the spot on that one. Round, Markstrom and Campbell fell off after the hot starts. Yes. Bobby Ganoush, welcome back. Freddie Anderson is only good because the Canes are good. Yes. That's where a defensive team doesn't help their goaltender. And you just see it for a while. Cora, thanks for reminding me. All right. You know what? UC Soros. Yeah, UC Soros. Oh my God. I can't believe. See, this is what happens when you get put on the spot and you got to do everything. UC Soros, I said back in the midseason previews, the midseason awards was probably their number. He could have been nominated for the Hart Trophy in the midseason. He was that good. Although now it looks like his teammate Roman Josi might be in that conversation now. But Freddie hasn't been the same since Wilson ran him over early in March. But that's also the thing about Freddie. Freddie always breaks down as the season goes on. And Swayman is a little bit off. On the blog post that I did on BigAppleHockeyPodcast.com, check it out. We're starting to get more written articles on there. But I did detail that the last 2 months, Swayman's been over a 3 goals against average. So that might not be his net come next week. So that's something to kind of keep in mind. And if it's Linus Ullmark, he's been playing very well in April. So Cassidy's got a decision right there. So I almost called him Butch Cassidy. It's Bruce Cassidy. So oops. All right. So here we go. Moving on to the next one. Austin. Well, you know what? I'm going to leave that one. I forgot it was a question. I almost clicked on that he scored. But Austin Matthews will be the best American player this millennium. Oh, God, I'm buying everybody too much all this week. I'm buying around. I'm going to say that right now. Again, geez. And fortunately, it won't be a clean sweep. I think there's going to be another one. Austin Matthews scored his 60th goal of the season last night. 60 goals, the first American to ever score 60 goals. Well, the first American-born player, although then there's the argument if Brett Hull is an American-born player, but still, I mean, now I'm trying to remember whether or not Brett Hull is classified as American-born player. I know he's got dual citizenship, but all right. Still, 60 goals, Austin Matthews. And I mean, I think he did it pretty much in 60 games, 61 games. He has been nothing short of amazing this year and deserves every single accolade. He's probably going to win the Hart Trophy, and God, is just well deserved. Philk and I had a conversation about a month ago. Why isn't he more of a household name in the States? And if you're TNT, if you're ESPN, and you guys are worth anything, you got to promote Austin Matthews, because American audiences will gravitate to him. He's got a great personality. I loved when he joked around about when he ran into the net. He just said, well, the crossbar was there. I figured, why not smash my face into it? But now, will he be the best American player this millennium? I already bought around, but Patrick Kane's the other guy that goes into that. There's going to be some more, but no, it's Patrick Kane. Patrick Kane's the only one that's even close to him on that. I'm going Austin Matthews. You guys said yes. Corset around. By the way, Chris G. Hey, how you doing? Let's say Washington because Ovechkin looks to be out or ineffective. Penguins also have Jory. So, yeah, that's usually the way that one is. I'm going to come back to that one. Yeah, I think Hull was not American born, but he's an American citizen. That's what I think it is. Because you get some lists, like NBC did the list of American born players. Brett Hull, I think, was number 3. And round, but he needs to pick it up at the playoffs. This might be the year. Yes. The Leafs still lose in the first round. Yep. It's amazing. And we're going to get into that in about another minute. But the Leafs, I just can't help but look at them and go, hey, you guys have done really well. Whoever you're playing in 6. And I do, and it's just, yeah, everybody. Well, if it's not Patrick Kane, I don't know who would be the next best player, because Patrick Kane won a scoring title and a Hart Trophy. Us thinking that ESPN, actually, we'll talk about hockey. Yep. Yeah, and you're going to say Jack Campbell is going to outplay Vasilevsky. You're talking about two teams with lethal, not good, lethal offenses. And Tampa's got depth. Toronto, and again, I've detailed this before. There's been sub-9 save percentages for Toronto goalies since the month of December. Don't sell me that they got the goaltending. They should have improved their goaltending. They could have gotten Semyon Varlamov or somebody else, but instead, they wanted to roll with this. So, yes. And the Leafs are offensive heavy. Defense wins cups. Yes. So, all right. Moving on. We were talking about the goaltending situation. Chris G was just mentioning it just a minute ago, but Washington has a better goaltending situation than all right. Well, I'm going to reread it because I just started laughing in the middle of this. Washington has a better goaltending situation than the Pittsburgh Penguins. Ooh, I'm going to say shot on this one. And let me make a nice big shot. Hey, now my face is on it. Hello. So I already have these all preset, but I gotta bring up the last year's kerfuffles, if you will, because first we'll do this. It's Ilya Samsonov 23 and 11 and 5, a 3.02 goals against, and an 8.95 save percentage. So while I'm doing that, let me just go to scores. Because everybody, if you think the Rangers should be scared of the Washington Capitals, I have to show you this. We'll go to Game Center and let's get to back to this. Vitek Vanacek, he's considerably better, 2.6 goals against and a 0.91 save percentage. But then again, I'm still not exactly sold on Vitek Vanacek. And then lastly, Tristan Jarry, the ultimate playoff player that he is. I mean, when I think of playoff goalies, I think Tristan Jarry. Woo! And if there's Penguins fans listening to me, prove me wrong. That I'll play it. I'm going to be playing it in a minute. But that goal in Game 5 for Josh Bailey. So here we go, everybody. So it's last night. I'm watching the Ranger game, and in the next TV over, I see Casey Cizikas' goal. And as that's needlessly playing the I get there right there. I gotta show you guys this. It's this awful. All right, so
need to set up shop here as we've got 56
watch
seconds
this.
to go on the Washington power play, and again they'll launch it all the way down. Samsonov comes out. There's a takeaway, and Samsonov gets back in front. They score! What a goal, Casey Cizikas. How about that effort? It's 3-1.
I mean, plenty of opportunities, and Orlov's looking, and then Samsonov is just very, very casual. And now look, watch it on the ground, and says, "Well, let me just hoist it up." And Samsonov never gets back out of position. Didn't hustle anywhere enough, but don't take anything away from Cizikas. He never gives up on the play.
Yeah, don't take anything away from Cizikas. You know what? Give it to Cizikas. But let me just rewind this really just for a second for you. Look, Cizikas is down on the ground. Samsonov is still got his back turned.
Out of position, didn't hustle anywhere enough. But
this is ridiculous. I think he does trip a little bit over the back of the net, but Ilya Samsonov is careless behind his own net. It's happened not just once, but twice. And here, let me give you guys this one to kind of go with the point that I've been going on and the rant. This is off of the article I put on last week. Watch this. Clutch. Absolutely. Oh, wait. I never put it in the stream. Oh, boy. This is why I should be admonished whenever I have to do this by myself, everybody. Here we go. Let's do it again.
And then Miller fires right back down. Schultz in hesitation, allowing Smith to take the puck, and he scores! Greg Smith, Game 3.
See, by the way, just to mention, once again, that's terrible. That's terrible. I should have put it in the stream. That's my bad. You guys can go ahead. Jesus, don't call me Justin Williams. That name's haunted me for way too long. But then again, let's go right back to that. Let's look at Tristan Jarry in the goal that
More ice time than any Pittsburgh Penguins forward tonight. A steal. It's Bailey. He scores!
And of course, I clicked the wrong one.
The Islanders go to Pittsburgh. They steal Game 5. They're headed back to the Coliseum with a chance to close it out.
Oh, as good as Jarry has played, that's a mistake. And Bailey with a little head
like
doing. And
what's the first thing they teach you in Pee Wees? Don't pass up the middle.
And then a giveaway to Josh Bailey, who wins it.
Well, he got hooked just a little bit as he was going to shoot it. Watch the hook right there, and then he just chips it by him as Jarry went down. He was exposed. And
all right, enough about this and enough about me screwing up my own stream. What do you guys think? Tampa Bay's been good. Been struggling. Yeah. It's really good. Tend the goal. That is 100% right. We definitely need a tech guy. Well, the problem is that we need a tech guy. The problem is that I need to be better prepared on that one. I was not. So Superman Sully was the best. Yeah. And I'm actually missing a couple of comments on here because I think I'm down to the bottom. Yeah, Justin Williams, who unfortunately terrorized the New York Rangers in 2014. So out of all the times I get to hear Williams scores, it's against the team that I'm rooting for. So Mr. Game 7, though, I got to give him credit. He is a hell of a player. He has always been that great. Yeah, he didn't even get back to the middle of his net. His stick was on it's just everything. What are you doing? Even leaving it behind. And by the way, the Rangers face the Caps. Here's the other thing. Like I said before, if you have two goalies, you don't have one. At least Pittsburgh's got that solved. I get a little bit of dust off the camera right there. But no. And by the way, right now, we're at 62%. So a lot of people still think the Pittsburgh Penguins are the team to face as this poll keeps going on. And Brody, hey, Brody, you're on. Yeah, I'm doing. You know what? I get to do some of the technical stuff whenever Phil or Anthony are talking. So when I got to think about comments, the banners, and everything else, it's a little bit more difficult. So let's get that one off. And Flower lost his stick like 2 times. Yeah, because there's something for. Like, I'm trying to remember which goalie it was. I want to say it was actually Marc-Andre Fleury. He does this sweeping poke check, and he gets his stick lost a lot. It happens all the time. By the way, thanks to the 12 of you that are watching on this right now. Obviously, I wish there was a 0 behind that, but it's understandable. Who wants to look at my face for an hour and 12 minutes? All right. Lastly, this one for you guys. Bruce Boudreau should get Coach of the Year consideration. And the only thing I'm going to have to say about that is the word consideration. I'm going to say the word shot. Beer. I mean, ugh. Beer for me on that. And I could do this. Okay. May we never see that ever again, folks. But it's Bruce Boudreau. This was the Canucks under him. Those are all outstanding numbers. Goal differential plus 34, 31 wins in under like 55 or did 55 games. And look at that, goals for and goals against per game. Like 3.31, goals for, and 2.69. They're all amazing. But I'm going to ask you guys this question. You guys can start putting it down in the comments below. Let me see some of these answers right over here. The problem I'm going to run into about Boudreau is been working for a while. And yes, yeah, Bruce gets a beer from me too. Yes, thank you, Brody. But the problem you run into is 2 questions. What makes a Coach of the Year candidate to you? So you guys can start throwing it down in the comments right now. And just, look at some of the candidates he's up against. He's got Brunette in Boston, in Florida, who has done an outstanding job, even after the Joel Quenneville controversy came around. Perfect reason that the Florida wanted to go into the tank. Instead, 120 points right now, and they need, I think, 1 win gives them the President's Trophy. Colorado, Jared Bednar, who had to navigate through injuries to McKinnon a couple times. Minnesota Wild, Dean Evison. He did a great job last year, and then they kind of fell off a little bit, but he's doing great. Gerard Gallant. What more do you need to say about him with that? Daryl Sutter in Calgary. That team looks like they're a Stanley Cup winner. I'm serious when I say that. That team looks like they're a Stanley Cup winner. And but you know what? Craig Berube in St. Louis. That's another one. He's he's right there. That team is playing on such a high level too right now. And then, of course, you got to give it up for Sheldon O'Keefe. They're going to be having home ice in the Atlantic Division. They weren't going to win the division, but they're having home ice, and they have got zero defense. Zero. Now, as far as I'm concerned, defense falls on the coach. If you're not coaching defense, then I don't even want to hear from you. Because that's what coaches should always be concerned about. Defense, defense, defense. If you think you're a running gun team, fine, be a running gun team. But defense wins it in the playoffs. So what exactly? So first off, who is your coach of the year? And also, by the way, beer shot, or are you buying everybody around on this question? Or what makes a coach of the year to you? We go to some of the comments right now. You got Brunette will get it. Okay. David, I was on the Travis Green train in the bubble, but they have not been as good since that playoff bubble. So I don't think that's all exactly all there. Yeah. Brunette is my front runner. Gallant's right there. I mean, I wonder who's going to be finalists. First off, by the way, Core, wow, Daryl Sutter, he's just transformed that team since the month of January. They've been incredible. I love the name Absolute Bot, but and welcome to the show if this is your first time. But yeah, I think Gallant's definitely a good choice too. He basically took the same team and just kept on making him better. And then once I got Andrew Kopp, I mean, Tyler Mott comes back. That's going to be a huge difference maker. Huge. Jones is back, so he can keep Nemeth on the bench. No, I think they're going to end up playing Nemeth on there. Thank you, Ely. Beer. I mean, see, the hard part is with this, how much drama did he really have? And I say it like this because the drama was on the Chicago side, and it was from his Chicago days. So none of that happened in Florida. They already kind of set the groundwork and moved them forward. And then Quenneville having to leave when they were on top. All you had to do was just keep it going. It's still not an easy. Try to find somebody that's gone through that early in the season, because I believe it was November when all this went down. And the Wild are looking great right now, especially that they have a goalie that they can rely on. I forgot who their starting goalie was before then. Anybody? Did we talk about him already earlier in the day? Because Cam Talbot is the greatest goalie that ever played for the New York Rangers. Only people that hated Henrik Lundqvist had to say that. I still think, by the way, I'm going to go back to Cam Talbot for one more second. He was a product of Benoit Allaire. There you go. Because what has he done since then? My thoughts on the Rangers' second string goalie is it's a distant second, and I don't care who it is next year. Get a veteran at the league minimum, or even try to see if Tyler Wall wants to be the backup and see if he can actually play at the NHL level. But I mean, Cam Talbot did make it to the All-Star game. I was there. I saw him. I know he was there. But trust me, I had him in fantasy. His goals against was still pretty high at that time. He was winning games. That's because you're on an offensive team. Just because he had 6 good weeks of being a New York Ranger doesn't make him a Hall of Famer. Let's retire at 33 and get it over with then. He fought Mike Smith to 8. His second season was the one when he had 33 wins, if I recall correctly. By the way, we're at 63% of people that want the Pittsburgh Penguins to play the New York Rangers. I'm just going to confirm that for a second. It should have been his second season. See, this is again. I'm doing great for dead air. I'm starting to sound like Mike Francesa. By the way, that should tell you. Google, it goes right to Cam Talbot stats, Cam Talbot Rangers. Cam Talbot had 40 wins his second season with the Edmonton Oilers. 21 in his first, 42 in his second, 31 in his third, and his last. Since then, between Philadelphia, Calgary, he had 31 his second season. He had 11 in total with Edmonton and Philly the next year. He had 41 over the next 3 seasons, 31 this season. But again, his goals against is 2.78. That's not good for the NHL level. And it 0.911 save percentage, that's pedestrian in today's league. It's funny to say that, by the way. It's pedestrian in this day and age, but yeah. Oh, Cora, I got to throw that one on there. Granny, that's right too. I hate him for ruining Hank Night and how fitting. But that was also Zook. Zook, I think, had 3 assists in that game. Thanks, Bobby. Thanks. Yeah, but the thing is, if you're the better goalie, then what? He doesn't try harder. I mean, I just quoted his numbers: 2.78 goals against average. You're supposed to be better than that. And the Wild are a better defensive team. And just the point that, and now we're going. I'm bashing Cam Talbot now. That's all I'm doing now. Great. This is going to endear me to a lot of Ranger fans. While I'm after this, I'm going to bash Sean Avery on his return. Cam Talbot is a member of the Minnesota Wild. Oh, sorry, not Cam Talbot. Marc-Andre Fleury. 10 games, 8 wins, 2.91 goals against. Uh-oh. And a 905 save percentage. Actually, those numbers are worse. Go back to Cam Talbot. Oh, boy. I hate losing arguments, especially with myself. No, see, by the way, the worst part is it was Justin Huberdeau, because I was thinking for some reason Justin Trudeau, but I mean, obviously Jonathan Huberdeau. When I get a Big Apple hockey jersey name, it's going to be goalies don't win games. They could steal some if your team doesn't score. It doesn't matter. Yes. Yeah, Mike, that's 100%. 100%. So, but again, going back to Coach of the Year candidates, you look at all these guys, they're all in there for Coach of the Year. That's why Bruce Boudreau, he might get some consideration. This isn't going to be a situation like, I want to say 7 years ago in the NFL, when Bruce Arians went 11-5 as an interim coach, or 10-5 or something like that, and did a great job. I wonder whatever happened to that Bruce Arians. Did he ever win a Super Bowl somewhere? So, but that's going to wrap this up for the Big Apple Hockey Bar Talk. I'm going to go off on a topic that has really frustrated me the last week, and we're going to go some more Q&A and possibly go to about 2:00 right now. So everybody, once again, thanks for dealing with me and trying to do this all solo. If I had either Anthony or Phil here, it would be immeasurably better of a broadcast. But that's what we're going to have to do for a little bit of time until our, yeah. Actually, wait, before we start, D, I got to go with this one before I go on the editorial. Best goalie tandem of the year. Ooh. That's a good one. If anybody's got any thoughts on best goalie tandem of the year, throw it down in the comments below. I'm leaning towards Ullmark and Swayman once they became a tandem. Yeah, there it is. There's Granny. And oh, nice. Well, nice that you're getting physical therapy at the chiropractor, Mike, but I hope you're feeling better after it. I usually feel better after every single chiropractor visit. I got a friend of mine who just had back surgery, or as I like to call him, he had a backiotomy. But it's one of those things that it's just necessary. Hopefully, I don't have to deal with that in the future, but we'll find that one out. Because I do have a topic, guys. I want to I'm chopping at the bit to talk about. You saw it on there. So let's go to an episode of On the Mark. This prediction that's right up here.
Being single most of my
Or
life.
just yell at Larry Brooks like every other New York Ranger has. There are some Markisms that I have, but that's one of my favorites. It was from an unaired video that I had about Tony D'Angelo supposedly using a burner Twitter account. It was just don't use a burner Twitter account. Just yell at Larry Brooks like every other New York Ranger has. And then I had a compilation of that, and then I found out that it was all Deadspin making crap up. So again, one thing I promised to everybody, Big Apple Hockey, Big Apple Sports, as it's starting to grow, we're going to actually have confirmed information. We're not doing hearsay. We're not rushing the judgment where you don't need to rush judgment. I have an article on there because again, I want to encourage debates. I want to have people being able to talk about things, talk about facts. And even when, because again, look at what just happened just now. I'm debating in my head going, oh, Marc-Andre Fleury is definitely doing better than Cam Talbot. Then all of his numbers were worse. So that's just the way it is. I don't want what happened last week with what happened with Mike Bossy. And I had this for On the Mark, and I talked about that, and I was disgusted. This week, however, I'm a different thing I was disgusted about. And I'll be honest with you, I guarantee half of you were disgusted with this as well. But so Friday night at the bar, people are saying to me, hey, Mark, you turn on the Yankee game? I know they're on. They're playing Cleveland. And I'm going around, clicking on every single TV, going on every single channel that they have. Yes, TBS, Channel 11, all these channels that go, where the hell are the New York Yankees? Oh, and then I'm thinking, well, it's Apple TV. I got one TV set up as a smart TV at the bar where you get to at least throw the Yankees on. Nope, not on there. All right, so it's Friday Night Baseball. They're not on Apple TV. What the hell's going on with this? Well, because they were on Amazon Prime Video. And yes, I was able to sign the bar and get one TV on that. But the Yankees alone have, let's see, they're on Yes, they're on Amazon Prime Video, they're on ESPN, possibly ESPN Plus as well. They're on 6 different networks this year, including Peacock. I don't even know Peacock still had sports, but they do. They had soccer, and I meant real sports. But it's one of those things that what is going on now? Because because it's happened in hockey, at least to a bunch of us. How many people here in the comments have ESPN Plus? Throw it down there for you. And how many people went to their local bar to be like, hey, I want to watch a game and just have a beer. Oh, wait, I can't do that because you guys have satellite and now it's streaming. So until streaming becomes like something incorporated into all the boxes, I'm not really sure if this model really works, because you can get the individuals on their phones and on their their smart TVs, maybe their tablets, but this is really not going to be marketable for bars, restaurants, and such. It's just, and I've had it with the Rangers. I had it last week watching the Detroit game because there was the app listed that they were going to be on ABC, and my cable box has been out. So fortunately, I had to sign in and look at it through that. So I'm looking through ABC. Oh, where are the Rangers? No, they're not playing. It's Boston versus Pittsburgh. All right, well it's got to be that. And I'm flipping out trying to figure out where the hell the Rangers are, and eventually they're on MSG, so I could just go to MSG Go the entire time. But it's just like this stuff like this, and I know why they did it. I know that they're trying to get more money in. They're trying to get everything to streaming. But this is what's going to kill fans. There's less Yankee games on Yes Network than there ever has been this year. Are your cable prices going down? No. Are your satellite prices going down? No. But now you got to subscribe to Apple TV, Amazon Prime Video. I mean, is The Boys really worth it on top of watching a few Yankee games? Short answer is The Boys is a great show. I'm not sure if it's worth $100 a year. But at least they'll give you free shipping that'll come with that. What is Apple TV going to give you? Yes, Ted Lasso is great. Yes, see Mythic Quest. That was a pretty good show. But is that really worth it to watch a few Met games on there? Or, I mean, and then look at what ESPN Plus is. If you're buying the NHL package, shouldn't you be entitled to all of the NHL games? Or is it just like, I don't know. It's because wait until next year when a lot of NHL games are going to Time Warner and they're going to be on HBO Go. So wait for that. There's just a lot of questions that I have. Is this really the right streaming or the right model for sports? Yes, you're going to stream, but you know what? Streaming it was great for Netflix when I wanted to watch some commercialless, the TV show. Now Netflix is talking about putting commercials in. Really? How about this? Stop having He's Having a Baby. And while I'm at it with them, why'd you cancel the Dark Crystal Age of Resistance? And why did you make Cowboy Bebop the new one? So it's one of those things that I just wonder whether or not sports really fits into this bubble. And there has been advantages to it. I was able to see games on whatever channel it is when I've traveled. But it's just, and when I'm at work, that doesn't work well. So it's one of those things. How about you guys? Are you having problems with this? I'm going to go down to the comments and see about it right here, because streaming itself, start getting down to one deal. It better start being a lot like the way networks used to be with football, where it used to be the NFC games were on Fox or CBS, and then it was the AFC was on CBS, then Sunday Night Football is on NBC, and Monday Night Football was on ABC, but then it went to ESPN, and before you knew it, you didn't know where your game was that you're watching. And it's appointment viewing for a reason, everybody. So, all right, let's get you guys involved on all this, because it drives me absolutely nuts as I'm doing all this. Yeah, Sunday Ticket. Oh boy, by the way. I'm already liking some of these comments too. Justin O'Keefe, by the way. It isn't Sheldon O'Keefe? Oh, it's Justin O'Keefe. Oh boy. I totally I knew I messed that one up. Oh, okay. 90% of news is a rush of judgment. And yes, that's been true, but why watch the Yankees when you can watch the good team in the Mets? Well, yeah. Well, the Mets weren't on yet. They were in Arizona. That was one of the reasons. And by the way, yes, Granny, right about that. The amount that you're paying, Sunday Ticket is likely going to Apple, which is going to make it better, which I think I agree with that. But again, Apple TV isn't set up for bars and restaurants. And bars are really what makes Sunday Ticket the thing, because you can have 13 TVs all set up and have different TVs, and you can glance at a different game, go bang, 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 bang. But once it goes to Apple TV, everybody's going to have the Apple app, and a lot of places aren't set up for this yet. And if DirecTV wants to survive, they should really start thinking about making boxes that support apps. It's either that or everything's going to Fire Stick. And I don't know, because I have NHL and mostly watch on Hulu. Yes, but there's going to be less NHL. There's going to be less Plus games on. My daughter-in-law uses football. Yeah, Sean, I'm agreeing with this one a little bit. Streaming is going to be a flash in the pan, I think. Without contracts, people could just cancel all these streaming services and only keep them for a month at a time. Next, Netflix just lost a ton of subscriptions. Yes. And here's the other thing. When you start making everything a la carte, this sounded great on paper. But when it starts getting a la carte, as soon as people don't like it, they're just going to tune you out. I'll look out a little bit when it comes to this. I'm out of market, so unless they play the Blues, I can just watch on Hulu, which is a good thing. All these multiple streaming all this multiple streaming service and channel nonsense is pushing people to watch bootleg stream sites. Yep. I think Beast TV was one of the ones that was popular about a year ago. And that's the other thing. Apple TV's. The other thing is how you're going to present the game to me. And that's why now you're seeing the rise of YouTube channels where they're doing the watch-alongs. And Phil did a couple of them. And one of them had Braden Schneider's first NHL goal. That was good. But there was also, but then you kind of delayed a little bit. So it's sort of like, and that's why you end up going to places and then just turning off what the speakers are. So we're going to start losing who's actually doing the play-by-plays. Everyone has Prime Video, not because they actually want Prime Video. They want free shipping because of that. Yeah. David, thank you. That's actually what I just brought up on that. Me too, David. It's all those the damn ads for me. This has to hurt NASCAR with the split season between Fox and NBC. Once it goes to NBC, the ratings will drop faster than Stripper Stop. Each league needs their own streaming service when it comes to sports. Just pay a few $100 a month. Yeah, that would be easier for the consumer. But I mean, and the worst part is for Netflix, for Amazon, they just bought a Yes broadcast, and I'm told that the Mets are going to be on there as well. So, good thing you're doing that. Sports is a communal experience. Streaming is geared for every person for themselves. And yep. Yeah. I mean, that's just where that's where I got to agree on that one, Sean. We all tune in to see Sam Rosen, and that's why I'll still forgive Sam Rosen for any mistake that he makes right now. Sam Rosen is a treasure for the New York Rangers, and a treasure in sports because he does the NFL on Fox too. And people that know him have never said a bad word about him. So there you go. Chris G, Severance, The Shrink Next Door, We Crashed, all good Apple shows. I'm going to agree with you on 2 of the 3. I haven't watched a minute of any of them. I do want to see The Shrink Next Door, and I keep on hearing about Severance is great. You will never get me to ever say Jared Leto is good in anything. Congratulations on Dallas Buyers Club. All the stories about Jared Leto. I'm going to go on a tangent for a second. Jared Leto, that he's so method. He's so method. He involves himself. Like when he was the Joker, he sent used condoms and dead animals to the cast members. And some of them didn't want to comment on it. And they're like, well, why was he doing that? Because he was trying to get in character to be the Joker. Yeah. So he was just Morbius the vampire. Did he go drink blood? Okay. Maybe not be so method, you moron. And yes, the failed actor is the one that's saying this. Well, not sure if it's failed. I did give up. It's Sheldon Keefe, not Sheldon O'Keefe. Oh, God. You know what? Okay, I could actually say the reason why I got that one. All right, I'm going to get to that in a second, Core. Sean Avery's going to win a Conn Smythe. Just watch this. With all that said, I got rid of Hulu, HBO Max, and Apple TV because I just got the Fire Stick jailbreak. Yeah, that's a better solution. My problem is I'm already subscribed to all of them. So even though I got one, it's like, all right, I'm already paying. Save it for the next one. It's all right. So by the way, it is my mistake. The reason why is because of my former coworker, Connor O'Keefe, who is right now in the New York Police Academy. Hope you're doing well, kid. And so maybe that was just in my brain. I'd even wow. Uh I wish Phil and Anthony could have seen that one. Or just been there for George. How are you doing today? If you purchased Center Ice package, you should get the stream games. Yes, regardless of the carrier. It doesn't matter because you should be getting it. And I got rid of Greek TV. I get it all now. Yeah. Yeah, there's those like pirated streaming ones that, it takes them a while to go shut them down. Yeah, the NHL app does a good job in getting you to find the games, and the only time it's ever done that to me, I had trouble. David, yeah, but you don't have to buy 2 years of very expensive satellite to watch football. Yep. Actually, they're not expensive anymore. I think when I bought mine, I think that was back in 99. That was $350. And then that was back when I wanted all this stuff. That's when by the way, that's when I got really Center Ice, and I really got in touch with watching West Coast games. I mean, Luke Robitaille was still an LA King back in those days, and he was having his renaissance. And I think that was back in the time Jason Allison was with the Kings, and it was maybe the Allison Palfy Smolinski line, I think was. That was a really good line. But that was when West Coast hockey was at its best. Until 66. And personally, I don't care. I get to see the Bills game, and until I discover NHL TV, I never really saw Ranger games because I lived out of market. So, yeah. And by the way, oh my God, those camera angles in ESPN, like just. Honestly, I really want to know who ESPN makes their broadcast for. Like, just are you guys kidding me? It's just awful. Thank you very much, Poppy. But that is awesome. Thank you. Because it's why we do these. That's why we got well, we're gonna keep going forward. We're hoping life won't get in our way so much. Phil and Anthony put their heart in this about as much as I do. And although I wake up and immediately I'm trying to figure out ways to still break the YouTube algorithm and everything, but it's a lot of work, and we're only going to get better every single week. So thank you guys always for that. Every time I see Sam at the start of a broadcast, I instantly get excited. Never take it for granted. Yep. By the way, you know what, Sean? Let me go one step further, because I think the Swiss Army knife of sports broadcasting is Kenny Albert. Kenny Albert can literally call anything, and I think he's great at what he does. He goes from a Rangers radio broadcast to a TNT TV broadcast to a baseball Fox broadcast to a football broadcast, and he's even filled in on Knicks games. And I think he's even done some nationally televised games too. But the guy's as fluid as it comes. Absolutely as fluid as it comes. And again, the reason why I have to break it down like that is even as I was getting out of my car, you can hear him always saying, Rangers going from left to right on your radio. Why do you need to tell me where the Rangers are skating? I can't see it. But he says that stuff to you, and immediately it's putting it in your head. And you're seeing the Rangers skating from left to right. It's just that easy. That's how guys are so great, and that's what's missing from the newer generation of play-by-play announcers, because it's becoming a lost art, because it's just they're not as talented. Let me say it like that. They're not as talented. I mean, Brendan Burke is incredible. And that's just he's like the last one I can actually say that about. Everybody else is old. Oop. What was that? Fight Club. Yeah. Oh, by the way, I was watching Fight Club the other day. It was awesome still. Mark Justin O'Keefe. Oh boy. Yeah. Sam Rosen still looks pretty much the same, not since 86 or 85, but he's still right there. Is it possible to keep Cop, Mott, and Vetrano if we move Heedles from? Yes. I don't know if they need to move Nils. Nils is on a two-way deal, so you don't have to worry about that. But Cop is the guy I'd already be trying to resign. And even if they announce it, don't do it until the playoffs, because then Ryan Strome knows he's probably a goner. Vetrano is possible and Mott is possible because they're not breaking the bank on all those guys. Heedle, again, I just think he's going to have to go elsewhere. You know something? I think Center Ice is still going to do I think Center Ice is still going to have the first round. They usually let the local TV deals go for the first round. Last night or Monday night at the bar, I had the Nets on TNT and the Nets on Yes at the same time. Now, but I think you're also going to have it available to you. That's a great question because NBC was showing every single broadcast on every one of their networks. Is ESPN going to do the same thing, or is TNT going to do the same thing? We're about to find out, because I know that TNT's got the conference finals this year. I want to say it's the Eastern Conference Finals this year and the Stanley Cup Finals next year. So that's the way that's going to go. I got to go back for a second. There's one female caller on ESPN, and wow. There's one of the you know what though? All right. So there's a female color commentator that's on either TNT or ESPN that keeps on saying they want Hedman in their bed. That's all she talks about, no matter who is playing. You know what? I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. That's fine. At least it's genuine. At least it's honest. I mean, hell, I make a similar joke about Scarlett Johansson. Why can't she? There you go. I'm all right with that. So I'm gonna laugh right there with Granny on that one. Now, by the way, George, where do you live in Arizona? Because my family is out in Mesa, Fountain Hills, and Chandler. That's where my brother Joe's dog decided to gnaw on the back of my knee. That was a lot of fun. About 4 or 5 weeks ago. I live in California, registered for Fubo. They gave my father's address at NBC and get MSG and Sportsnet, even though I live in Cali. That's great because, by the way, that's one thing I loved. I love that Fubo commercial that said he was in a Chinese food restaurant and he goes, "Oh no, Fubo, they got MSG." And immediately the cook goes, "No MSG." No, I know, but you could get MSG with Fubo. Imagination is missing, Chris. That's 100% on a lot of those things. It's just the color commentators. Yeah, I always call Booch the Susan Waldman of hockey. I keep switching feeds last night to hear Sam. Yeah. Sam is worth it just to hear his call. Oh, that sucks. Prayer for Chip Tracy, who's battling a drinking problem. But you know what? If he made it public, he's doing it. It's either a real problem or he's doing it to raise awareness. So yeah, hopefully Trip Tracy comes out fine with that. Look, I'm a guy that I drink a lot, and sometimes I wonder whether or not I'm gonna head there one day. But I know I don't wake up and need it and need to down a bottle of scotch in order to live. Some guys, I'm not saying that's the case with him. I'm just saying some guys in general. That's your heart goes out to those guys sometimes. The ones that seek help, those are the ones you always go out to have the heart for, because then if that's the case, then he's hit rock bottom and he knows he needs help with that. I did enjoy Gretzky doing the coverage, especially the Winter Classic. You know, I love seeing Gretzky on there, and I love it when it's him and Rick Tocchet on the same stage. But I got to say this. Anson Carter and Liam McHugh do such a great job. And I mean, it's great that Liam McHugh is on TNT because now he has a beard. So now I know he's not graduated from high school. He's now graduated from high school. He's moved on. David, is anyone really a Nets fan? No. Actually, everybody I do know, by the way, two guys that are Net fans. One of them is a Net fan. One of them was a lifelong Net fan who's now covering the Nets and fulfilling his lifelong dream. And he's kind of seeing how the sausage is made, and that's not helping him in any way. Known as Pierre, who was obsessed for Fox and McAvoy. Here's the thing I think about Pierre. Pierre, he just latches on to young players and just he'll talk about how great a young player is. He'll tell you where they went to junior college. He'll tell you where they went to college. He'll tell you where he went to juniors. It's just that he does latch on to them. And even when they play well, you're like, all right, you don't have to talk about them every 5 seconds. But yeah, Fox and McAvoy were among there. I mean, Dougie Hamilton, he had a love affair with Dougie Hamilton. So pick up Football TV, given MSG, NYC address to get MSG. See, by the way, if they're going to start doing a la carte, everything should be a la carte. Yeah, Christopher Lotang. Yeah. By the way, nice. I got to get out the Tombstone. If you haven't seen it, we did a back in August last year. I did a stream of Chris Drury spoofing Tombstone. So check that out. Oh, Emily Kaplan said that. Yeah, Emily Kaplan's funny. That's why I like Emily Kaplan. Really don't want Victor. Nice. I got to make my way out to Cali eventually because I keep on saying for the Mark on the Road thing, I got to see all the arenas. And it's a little bit difficult right now with we only did 2 episodes of that this year. But one of the other things I need to cover next year is I need to cover the NYPD FDNY game. The only reason why I'm not doing this year is because I didn't think about it until like last week. And I'm working Saturday night. So oops. That's a great question. I wonder who's are some of the call-ups that they can get in the next 2 days. I would love to see if they could try to get Lori Pianemi up there for one of them, but Leah Hextall, when Simmons and Maroon were chirping each other, was beyond cringe. Yeah, I'm just gonna say no comment and move on from there. Not as big of a fan on her. Anson Carter. Yeah, but you know what? Anson Carter is one of those guys that should push for hockey. Well, first off, hockey is for everybody. Yeah, that's what I always say for everybody. And you know what? It's one of those things. Now, without getting into any politics on anything, it's sports is about getting everyone in the same room. And when you get everybody in the same room, you come together. A friend of mine and I, we don't see anywhere identical in political alliances, and yet we're on not only friends, but we're on the same line together, and we're always competing for a goal. That's where it should always. That's what the magic of sports is. That's where the great part about sports is. And that's where people get lost in that. And that's why I think sports writers need to kind of get away from that. And I know, and you notice you haven't heard so much from some players. How do I put it? You know what? I'm not even going to put it anyway. So it's great that a lot of it's starting to calm down and you're still getting some reports on I'm just gonna cut off my train of thought before I say something stupid, and next thing I know, I'm canceled. All right. What is the pizza commercial I could see on Canada games where the what? Okay. What? I've got to. All right. This is the question that's on there. What is the pizza commercial I see in Canada games where they say they're inclusive and they show a guy with an ankle monitor? I have got to see that commercial. So what, you're making it now for current cons? Canada, Montreal is the worst. Yes, it can be. I love that city, but I don't need to worry about anything. I played junior hockey in Canada. Yeah. It's amazing because you'll say like the most progressive cities are the most racist, but that's a different story. Look at New York. There's areas that all right. I got to be honest about this one. There's areas that even the police don't go in New York because it's dangerous because they're not allowed to go in there. So and now, geez, the way that the city's governed, forget it. All right, so let's get to we're gonna go 10 more minutes, guys. So, but it's and again, by the way, trying to be inclusive for the sake of being inclusive is not inclusive, if this makes any sense. And I'll direct you right back to Jackie Robinson's story and the story of Pee Wee Reese walking over to him and putting his arm around him and kind of making everybody kind of back off a little bit. Look, it doesn't matter who my teammate is when he's my teammate. And behind closed doors, I can tell him he's still screwed up if something happened, or say whatever I want. But on my team, he's my team. Now, I have not liked 100% of my teammates. I'm not even sure if I liked 85% of my teammates. I've had a lot of great teammates over the years, and it's just to say, just inclusivity is sort of like Inception. If I got to think about it, then it's not inclusive. And I'm privileged to live in a great town that's multi-ethnic. Hell, I was my ex-fiance, I was gonna marry Jewish. There's lots of stuff that it's great. That's what America is. It's a melting pot. But when you're forcing things, that's where you got to go. That's where I agree with you on this one. That's where I agree with you 100% on this one. Especially working in the restaurant business for the last 25 years. I know all these people are all like, when I say these people, I mean anybody from any walk of life. Because the one thing I also say is there's no such thing as a white guy, because I can't stand that. I'm Italian. That's where my blood is. It's not all of it, but you know what? That's what my grandmother raised me on. And there you go. At first, by the way, and that's how you get to be Poppy Rican, by the way. But yeah, you're the first Puerto Rican on the team, and then bang, then it doesn't matter. You're my teammate. I don't see you as anything else but being my teammate. And I played on a couple baseball teams over the last 10 years, and we were more diverse than a Benetot ad, and we didn't need to go publicize it to anybody. You just, high-fived your teammate, and then that was it. There's a friend of mine, Brian Daly, my left fielder. That guy was, well, first off, he put up with me missing him on throws sometimes because I'm a head case. And it's just, it's just there's you know you miss the teammates that you always feel good to see. That's what you end up missing. And there's a lot of people that are out for themselves. And when you get the selfish guys, you don't want to even deal with them. And when you get the ones that help you be better, both as a player and a person, those are the guys you want every single game to be next to. And yes, I don't think that's happening in the league right now. I think what it is in the league is it's diversification, that people are getting better. K'Andre Miller is not a New York Ranger because of any other reason, but besides that he's a good player and he's got tools that's going to make him even better. And it's that's and if you're drafting if you're drafting to do that specifically, if you're doing that specifically because of his ethnicity, then you're an idiot. You draft because of the player that he is. Because if we have to start, if as sports leagues, if you're starting to look at player X as the color of their skin or whatever, then I'm preaching a little bit, everybody. I'm sorry about this. But if you're doing that, then you're getting away from what a winning product really is. And this is the same argument I had 25 years ago when it was about Tony Dungy, that he wasn't getting hired, and people were saying he wasn't getting hired because he was black. And then Tony Dungy finally gets hired by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and takes them to the playoffs, turns around that dismal, awful franchise. And then because of all of the work Tony Dungy put in, and then they let him go, John Gruden ends up winning a Super Bowl because of the groundwork that he laid. And Gruden finished off. Gruden's a good coach too. There's no doubt about that. And then Tony Dungy wins a Super Bowl a few years later with the Indianapolis Colts. And this is what I have to say. If the owners were truly judging him based on ethnicity and the color of his skin, you deserve to never get a Super Bowl, because that guy is a great coach. And here's another one for you. Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin's a great coach. And there's lots of guys around the league. And you know what? Granny said it before. Look, it's because, unfortunately, where is your comment on this one? Yeah, there's the PR, women's and men's national teams are doing great. I hate it whenever a player is criticized and people say racism. I actually, for the most part, just didn't know what Matt Dumba's ethnicity was. Do you know what my number one thing I want to know with hockey players? Are they American? There you go. First thing, are they American? Matt Dumba's an American, by the way. And that's all I care about. I mean, do we need more proof on whether or not somebody could be a different ethnicity and awesome? And Paul Kariya was part Japanese. He was amazing. He was one of my favorite players to watch. Jerome McGinley. I don't need this to bring up whatever ethnicity he was. And great coaches too. I mean, Ted Nolan in the past. There's so many things to go on with this. I don't care. I really don't care. It's a footnote. It's what I get to talk about afterwards. Not what's in the first. That's not page one. Ansel Carter wasn't a great New York Ranger because page one, Ansel Carter was black. No, Ansel Carter was great. And you know what? He really didn't have that great of a career with the New York Rangers, and he ended up getting the Rangers Yarmer Yager. So, but he was a guy that I looked at when he was in Boston, and I salivated at the thought of him being a New York Ranger. And then I got my wish, and it didn't even last that long. It lasted, I think, basically 1 year. Brody, going back to this, I agree with you. I'm 53. I'm very multi-ethnic. When I was young, the world was doing a good job making you feel like a human. Now it wants you to be described as your ethnicity, and it's disturbing. It's amazing how it's gone backwards. How about we're one people? I'm gonna go off on a tangent if I do this, and we're trying to stick to a hockey podcast. So back to that one. Butch is the worst. I know Micheletti is a huge homer, but Christ, Butch is by far the biggest homer. Yeah, my goodness. But you know what? On your own broadcast, which one do you want? Do you want the guy that's a homer? Or you want a guy that's going to be able to talk about everything else? JD was a homer, but JD could criticize the Rangers. I mean, there are lots of times. And by the way, two guys you might want to accuse for being homers, Darling and Hernandez on Mets broadcast, they are not homers. They are, but they are not at the same time. Because you know what? You're going to have to be able to criticize it. It's the same thing with me. If the Rangers get eliminated, let's say next week by the Pittsburgh Penguins, which is going to be tough because I think they'll only play 3 games. So, but if they get eliminated next week by the Pittsburgh Penguins, I got to come on. I got to talk about that. And there might be fans on here that are going to be yelling at me about it. But you know something? I'd rather be able to criticize instead of that's the problem just with journalism itself. Everybody's got their teams and then they don't want us to just sign up on anything else. Is that Dumba or is that Keandre Miller? By the way, Keandre Miller, I do have to say this. You talk about people since the trade deadline. Keandre Miller has had a tremendous jump forward. And yeah, if the Rangers were going to do that, they would have drafted Byfield. And by the way, Quentin Byfield would have made sense for them. They lack depth at center. They have not gotten a quality center in a while. They still went with Alexei Lafreniere because every scout said Alexei Lafreniere was going to be number 1 in that draft class. We don't have to say we played a tournament in Boston. Oh, Poppy, I'm sorry to hear about that. I'm sorry to hear about that. See, unfortunately, yeah, there's certain places around that took a little while longer to modernize. We'll say it like that. Wait, I thought we'd given up on Keandre Miller around here. Nope, not me. Not yet. Not yet. He could be great trade bait, but no. It's there. I'm catching up with all these comments right now. Agree with you on that one, Brody. Yeah. Bobby Francis be the guy. See, now, by the way, that is the sweeter revenge. Gruden did win a player with did win a Super Bowl with all of Dungy's players. Yep. And yeah, heritage matters a lot, guys. Heritage matters a lot. And you know what? Maybe I'm envious because really I just have the traditions and heritage that was taken on by imparted to me by my grandmother, and a wonderful little Italian woman. My entire life knowing her, one of the greatest, most loving people around. And the only grudge she ever held with anybody was Pearl Harbor. That was it. It was funny for a while at the dinner table when I bring up Ichiro Suzuki, she just immediately turned it to Pearl Harbor. But I mean, that being said, the woman never had a prejudiced bone in her body. But yeah, Canada's all over the place sometimes. And again, just play the game. Everybody get on the ice. Get on the ice. We're all going for the same thing. And that's why I worry about the state of the country and the state of sports. Let me go through a couple more of these. Let me make that one point. Because I know you guys are on a roll with these comments, and I'm just 20 generations that I think feel this way. Yeah, social media has made it a lot worse. Social media is worse. And what we need to do is we need to get people to stop thinking that way. I'm going to look into that. Because Antikar, I think, has done such a great job. And again, I would have had an Antikar jersey when I was younger. So I'm not completely impartial on that one, but I'm gonna look into that. 2 generations, yeah. Well, it feels like 20 generations. Dumba, okay. Yeah, because I mean, think about it. By the way, think about it like this: in the '80s, was everybody keen about having Russian players on the team? There you go. Alexander McGillney comes in, boom, successful. You know, once guys start scoring goals, that's all you need to know. Jack Edwards, yes. Oh God, Jack Edwards. I'm not a big fan of his, or Sean McDonough, or a lot of the ESPN guys. I don't know what's going on with Al Troutwick. I just hope that he's doing well. I can't confirm or say anything. I've heard some things, but hopefully he's doing well. Gruden faced the Raiders, which are all his players, so that's why I hate Gruden, because he won with Dungy's team. Yeah, and that's true. And also, yeah, he won with Dungy's team, but he did what Dungy could not do, and he did it with Brad Johnson. Brad Johnson won a Super Bowl. Brad Johnson's got a Super Bowl win. Dan Marino doesn't. Trent Dilfer has a Super Bowl win. Dan Marino doesn't. I'm gonna get to hockey on this. Trent Dilfer, I said it. I said Trent Dilfer. Mark Rippon, he's another one. Hell, Nick Foles won a Super Bowl. Dan Marino doesn't. And this is why sometimes when you make lists like this, I say the X player was the best goalie of all time, and I can't help but say, really? So we're just going to demote Henrik Lundqvist because you're telling me Artemi Niemi or whatever? Anthony Niemi is better. Anthony Niemi's better. Corey Crawford's better. Name mediocre goalies that have won championships. Jordan Binnington is better. Please. I'll get to that one in a second, AK. But Lace is out. But okay. No, I'm gonna say that part of this has to do with spearheading that the NHL's got their European influence, but also Brian Burke did a great job of I think with this campaign too. I think because he was one of the people, and truth be told, I want anybody that can play hockey to play hockey, and I want anybody to love hockey that can love hockey. I don't care whether or not or what they all are, because when I go and I sit at a Ranger game, the last thing I am worried about is who you voted for. You know what? I've had this privilege. Let me tell you guys this. And I had this privilege of, for 4 consecutive games, I had somebody that came from Italy, Germany, Norway, and somebody else from another country. I can't remember where it was. And even on here, we had guys from Greece and guys from a blue shirt. I haven't seen them in a while, but guys from Australia that were coming in. And this is their first game at the Garden. So, yeah. So, getting them to have their first experience. I remember the German guys. Oh, they were drinking all day and they were cheering the entire game. Not kind of understanding that we don't scream the entire time in a hockey game, but still. Oh no, David, I got you on the point. By the way, I understand what you mean. But just to say with this, it's I want everybody to play the game at its highest level. It's at its lowest level. Go ahead, be inclusive, get everyone in, get them all started. In its highest level, now it's merit. It's only merit. That's the only thing it can be. Because the other way around was accused of that was the Atlanta Thrashers. That the Atlanta Thrashers got Dustin Byfuglien, that they got Evander Kane. I think there was a third player that was in there. And and it's just that they were accused of that in a positive way, I think. I don't know. ESPN kind of had a special one at one point. And the true answer on that is those are good players. So if that's the case, they still were doing it for hockey decisions. I'm not going to bring in a player that can't play because they meet certain inclusivity criterias. So that's never going to happen. Do you believe, back to hockey? We're gonna well, we're finally done with all that. Well, let's just get back to hockey. Let's finish up. Do I believe Igor can win us 2 rounds? So could Igor win the New York Rangers 2 rounds? Yes. I'll put it like that. Igor Shesterkin is just the best. So yeah, and I don't know how teams are going to beat him 4 times in a span of 7 games. I just don't. And I think when the Rangers got Andrew Kopp, I said they were going to the conference finals. I stand by that statement right now. The Rangers are going to the conference finals. Who do I have them losing to? I'm going to sit down and look at the playoff tree tomorrow, or when it's official. I guess it's Saturday, and it's I look at them in the first round. I think whoever they face, the Capitals or the Penguins, it's not going to be a long series. Hopefully, you'll watch again on Sunday when I break all this down. But I got the Rangers in 5. Doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't. It could be the Capitals. It could be the Penguins. And the Penguins, hell, Sidney Crosby's got 84 points. And the Penguins scored 4 goals total against Igor Shesterkin this season. There you go. So, well, how can we get rid ourselves of McKay and Gauthier? We don't have to worry about that. Yeah, Dave, I'm a little bit impressed that I'm still going too. I figured 90 minutes was going to be the most. I apologize to one of my housemates who I might have woke up. Hopefully I didn't, but he's been working doubles. But isn't that the truth with all of us? We're all on different schedules right now. I'm the night guy. Philk is actually working I think 11 8s, and Anthony's got day shifts, and he's taking care of the chids. The chids. He's taking care of the kids. I was gonna say the children. Hello, children. Do we keep Sammy Blais? I hope so. I gotta see, since I got you on right now, since I've been such riveting podcast anyway. This is why I end up recording things and then doing the little splicing, so that way you don't get any dead air from me. I hate dead air. I hated listening to Mike Francesa. Half his show was dead air. Thanks again, Poppy. And by the way, I know everybody might say a Sammy Blais contract. Let's see where he is. Samuel Blais. Sammy Blais, cap friendly. I just want to make sure before I say the words the letters RFA, and his status is an RFA when it expires. So I hope he stays, because I think he should bet on himself. By the way, thanks, Bobby. I think we'll be rid of McKay and Gauthier by next week. Gauthier played Saturday because Kopp was not in the lineup. Gauthier has probably played his last game as a New York Ranger, I'll say Friday. This is, I referred to this earlier as the 2-game preseason, but that's what it is. It's a 2-game preseason right now. Have you checked out on Matthew Boldy? Yeah. Oh, I've seen Matthew Boldy, and he is good. So speaking about the team that might have to clear a roster player like Kevin Fiala to get a guy like Matt Boldy some more ice time, that could happen. That could happen. I got to check all the rest of this. You know what? Finishing what you were saying before. Yeah, Bobby, 100% right. And people who think, but again, this is just to get this. The NHL is not, first off, by the way, sports is not for racists. It's just not. Because if and that's why Branch Rickey is one of the greatest minds ever in sports, because every account in every single movie that they've ever done for this, and Jackie Robinson asked him, "Why did you choose me?" Branch Rickey's response is, "I just want to win baseball games." And then he went and saw the players in the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico and branched out from there. So right there, Branch Rickey. I mean, the guy just wanted to win baseball games. And although the other thing on that is whenever I think about comments is Juan Samuel, who said you don't walk off the aisle, saying why most Dominican players tend to swing. Or they don't take a lot of walks. Like, share, and subscribe. Yes, thank you, Dave, because I forget to say that all the time because I always think, yeah, people are just going to do that. Yeah, if you haven't given us a like on that. Drew, this might be the first time I've seen you. If that's true, welcome to the show. So yeah, you know what, Dave? I should have thought about that too. Asking you whether or not you wanted to join me, because I could always I'm better with a sidekick. Or being the sidekick sometimes for Anthony and for Phil. So what do I think the Rangers' odds are of winning the Stanley Cup Finals? Let's see what the the Stanley Cup. Let's go with what the actual odds are for that. Odds. Let's see what they're listing as. Bet Rivers Sportsbook is, or we'll go with Caesars. Caesars Sportsbook is. Oh, they're asking me to sign up for the app. Can I just? Yeah. All right. The Rangers are plus 1,600 according to sportsbettingdime.com. So they're plus 1,600. The Penguins are plus 1,800. And let's see what team is favored the most. It should be the Florida Panthers. St. Louis Blues plus 2,000. That might be a good bet, everybody. You might want to think about that one. Colorado plus 300. Florida is plus 550. Here's the thing I worry about with Colorado. I think they're on a collision course with the team that's plus 900, and that's the Calgary Flames. That's just what Toronto is plus 900. Do they see their goaltending? Tampa Bay plus 1,100 and Carolina plus 12. So to answer the question is plus 1,600. Bet $100 that and you win 1,600. Or is that right? Or is it you bet $100 you get? No, you win 100. Yeah, it's you win 1,600 for 100. I might take it up on that. Honestly, that'd be a good bet. Even though when I do my predictions right now, I don't have the Rangers winning the Stanley Cup, but they're going to be a dangerous team. That's a great value bet, I think. Right behind them, St. Louis Blues plus 2,000. Why not take both of them? 200 to win, hopefully 1,400 net. Why not? Great thing about some of these sites is that there's no VIG. So what are the odds of the Rangers in the Stanley Cup final? I have to check with that on that one. I wish I knew for you right off. Wow. All right. I messed up that question because you put that in 3 times. The odds of the Rangers in the Stanley Cup final, I got to find out for that one. I would say, let's see, they're getting 160 to 1. So 160. Oh, 16 to 1. That's what they're getting to make the Stanley Cup finals. To win the Stanley Cup. I would say I would probably go with 8 to 1 that they make the Stanley Cup finals. I love their chances of making the Stanley Cup finals because at the moment, the way it's set up and the way it's structured, they only have to face either Carolina. The following 3 teams are the ones they have to worry about: Carolina, Tampa Bay, Florida. And like I said before, they got a winning record against all those teams except Carolina. If Boston pulls up the upset, that could be scary. That could be very scary for the rest of the league because then the Rangers have a real shot at the Stanley Cup. But I don't know. I mean, that's, and I know I'm saying this, everybody could see the Ranger stuff right behind me. And also think about the Rangers versus the Ottawa Senators in 2018. They were supposed to, or 2017, I'm sorry. They were supposed to mow right through the Senators. They end up losing game one. AV decides to bench Brady Shea for 10 minutes in the third period on a 2-goal game. So heaven forbid he actually played him. JG Pajot scores 4 goals. Screw you, JG Pajot. And then the Rangers blow that series. They won both games at home, and then they blew game 5. The Rangers should have won that series running away. Credit to Ottawa for having the chutzpah, if you will, to win that series. But I mean, the Rangers were the better team in that series. They were the better team for 5 of those games. Pretty much all of them, except for game 6. And Ottawa was a better team in that one. They closed it out. So that's where I kind of go with the careful what you wish for. Because I wanted Ottawa, and after the Rangers beat Montreal, oh, wow, we got the upset. We're going to go play Pittsburgh in the conference finals. Nope, not like that. And by the way, I have to stop saying wait, because like I said before, I'm a fan, but I'm also a pundit now. So it's they. It is definitely they. So let me do a couple more of these. No, but I got to look this up. If that's the case, that would be great. I worry about one thing. I worry about I would be worried if there's any involvement with the government on him. That's what would worry me. And it sounds funny to say it like that, but after all of our conversations about inclusivity and everything else, no, it's because that was it was like that with Yao Ming. So just watch out for that. Okay. Yeah, probably. I got to check up on those scouts. Yeah, Marchand has not been playing well, and they've been splitting up Pasternak and the perfection line. They've been putting Pasternak with Taylor Hall. And if you saw it last night, they had 2 goals within 6 seconds. So Boston, again, Boston's not exactly the right team too, but I'd still take Boston over Carolina. So I think the Rangers match up well, playing their full team and playing everybody against Boston. Yeah, I do remember that story from a while ago. Yeah, Eric Hall was a good player. I thought he would have been a perfect third line center for the New York Rangers, by the way. All right, we're at 2:29 right now. Yeah, it's actually, you know what? It's been a great afternoon, guys, but I'm gonna have to sign off because this actually, by the way, all this came from the streaming stuff. I actually can't believe this. A lot of this conversation all came from streaming, and I still don't think streaming is actually the best avenue for sports broadcasting. I don't think it's going to work. And if it does work, every team should have their own individual contracts. Never mind national contracts. Because you know what? Well, who needs the league? Why not just? That was what the Dallas Cowboys did. Dallas Cowboys in the 90s. They went away from they made Nike their official sponsor of their clothes, and they made Pepsi their official soft drink. The amount of revenue that they grind. Yeah. Oh, guys, everybody, thank you very much. Because again, we love doing this, and we're hoping to get this to be full time. It'll be so much better one day when I have an assistant. So, but I am hoping next week to set up a viewing party at Boss Croker's, so we can all watch one of the Ranger games. Hopefully, it's on a night where we don't have to worry about darts. So stay tuned on that one. I will have that on the Instagram, Facebook, or definitely on the website too, because we'll be able to get that one there. And if you haven't already started checking us out, we are starting to fill up on BigAppleHockeyPodcast.com. That was, let me go right here for that, because in my boredom, I have actually gone back to putting some more written articles in there. And because I have a particular way of speaking and reading, they come out usually like garbage. So, but I do have somebody that proofreads a lot of these for me. I just learned how to do captions too, also last week. So this felt good just to get this down. But yeah, do I really want to risk it with more Sidney Crosby? There's been 174 views on it so far. Wow, no comments. So kind of happy about that. But like I said, we've been doing more stuff to get this started for everybody. Getting more different coverage for you. There's eventually going to be different buttons for everybody. So that way you can follow us. And also, hopefully, we're going to start recruiting people to write for organizations. So, like, we're going to need somebody to write for the Winnipeg Jets eventually. So that'll be something too. So yeah, I keep hearing about Discord. I have to figure out how to do that. Oh, nice. There is Glenn. Yeah, that's actually awesome. That's actually awesome. So, Blue Shirts Underground rated X for NYRs. Yeah. But and again, I do want to also say that we're trying to bring back real journalism all the way through. The real debate, real arguments. We don't need to keep hearing some garbage that was spouted out. Like, take for instance, I'm going to say this. I'm still signing off, by the way, everybody, but I do have to say this. I watched a video last week, and it's got a few thousand views. And I'm not even going to come close to that with this. I already know it. But the article cited Anthony DeAngelo stealing the puck, or sorry, Tony DeAngelo stealing the puck for Keandre Miller's first goal, citing when it happened, and it was over a year ago, and it was already debunked, and it was also debunked furiously by John Davidson. And one of the writers, the presenter of the video, quotes him. And there's also the videos that are just hit pieces on locker room cancers that you got. Just, I'm not doing videos like that. If we're giving you information, we're giving you information, stuff that we already know. Now, I'm the one that predicted last year after the first game, the Rangers were done with Tony DeAngelo, because they scratched him 2 games right after that. And you could just tell by the behavior of people, that's how you could do that. So, by the way, Granny, shoot me a DM on either Twitter or an Instagram, because I'll see those a lot faster. But again, just, they're citing Tony DeAngelo for something he didn't do, or at least that we don't have it confirmed. And that's a pretty outrageous statement. And it's just, yeah, Eichel wants out. Not that they were letting him twist in the wind with his neck. Is where I came around to on some of those things. But again, I'm not putting up videos like that. And even, like, I even had the comment that I had on that. Now I'm going to have to go find my comment. Oh, boy. Let's see. This is 9+. Oh, is details revealed on that? Okay, yeah. This was my comment. The stolen puck was well, I put down debunked. Carolina versus, because they said there was a notable game between Carolina and New York. Yeah, it was for first place. There was about as much new information here as water is wet, and New York jettisoned him because they favored Adam Fox. And look at the 3 weeks before that. The teams passed on him because they knew they could get him for cheaper. And although I'm seeing the response for this. Yes to all those except for C. Yes, that was true, but Fox was already the golden boy. He and Truber were already ahead of him in the pecking order. Okay, then why is D not the one that was there? It was the emergence of Keandre Miller that pushed D'Angelo back to a third defenseman pair, and I said, yeah, okay. He's not wrong in what he says with this. He says that the emergence of Miller pushed him back, but also here's the thing, and I've said this before: Tony D'Angelo, once he wasn't the Rangers' power play quarterback, was useless to them because he was absolutely atrocious 5-on-5, and it's just there's more to it than a TMZ angle that you need to go with. If you know what the video was, feel free to check it out, and also feel free to check out my comment on there. Yes, it's from my personal page, and it goes all the way back to where my acting days are. If you want a good laugh real quick, you could check out some of my acting reels. But it's just no. Again, the Rangers had a viable option with Adam Fox. It's just that. And Adam Fox wasn't causing problems. Tony D'Angelo was on the ice, taking terrible penalties, taking needless unsportsmanlike conduct penalties, and they just had enough of his behavior. Let me see what David said right here. I was watching a Hurricanes game, and the announcers said that before signing him, they called Hank, Fox, and Stahl, and all said Anthony D'Angelo was a good teammate. Okay. And by the way, a lot of people have heard of him as TDA. But let me just also say this about him. Tony D'Angelo, if he had this much of a target on him, and it was a huge target, the entire Twitter sphere wanted him to pay the price on what? Because again, all the accusations against him was that all the accusations on him were just kind of accusations. Really. He did serve a suspension for a homophobic slur. I believe that was 2 games. And it's just, they kind of have this persona of him, and they hate him and whatever. So it doesn't really matter what I'm saying right now. But again, Tony D'Angelo, if he really did do that, would be the dumbest person on earth. And he didn't do that. And there's even the word that Keandre Miller texted Tony that night that he got punched out. And it could just be sheer frustration. But you know what, Joe? And by the way, Joe, welcome to the show. This is the first time I'm seeing you. I don't root against him. And then I know he was getting booed the last 2 weeks at the Garden because he said I could care less what Ranger fans think about me. But yeah, I mean, it's just he had a target that was put on him, and he crumbled. I think he just crumbled under the pressure. I actually hope he does bounce back. I hope you're right. And again, I think I said this with Phil too. I think it was our 3rd show. Might have been our 2nd show that we've ever done together. Because originally I was doing a video by myself, and I too much Tony D'Angelo news, and I just went, you know what? I'm going to need you to come on with me. Can you come on with me? And we edited the show. We this is before 4 months before he was streaming. I was doing all this through recording Zoom calls and editing on LumaFusion. So, but the one thing I did say was he needs to fix himself and make himself a better person for the rest of his life. Never mind his hockey career. And I think he's done well enough to get another contract somewhere else. There's plenty of cities for him to go to. He's proven that he's at least worth something to teams in the league. I mean, he's just a fourth forward. That's just my opinion on him. But wow. By the way, I love this name. Lauren Darkin. But yeah, I think he's probably better than Dougie Hamilton. Well, by the way, and that's also an oxymoron. I couldn't care less that people could say care less. It's wrong. We get it that people always have to correct it and have to let it go. Yeah, because first of all, if you couldn't care less, that means you care. But I'm still indifferent to Tony DeAngelo because I didn't think he was a long-term answer anyway. The beginning of last year, one of my last solo videos was the bold prediction that they're going to have to move either Tony DeAngelo or Pavel Buchnevich. Both of them ended up getting moved by season's end. And both of them, because of contract situations, were going to be there. And again, the guy that I cite was Adam Fox. Does Ottman make this team? That is an interesting question. I'm still supposed to sign off, guys. Just when I think I'm out, you pull me back in. So it's does Ottman make the team? According to Statboy Steven, our friend over at Rangers Review, he said that Ottman has been informed that he is in the Rangers' plans next year. If that is true, then where does he fit? Can he go to the second line and play with Artemi Panarin? Does that mean Kravtsov, Kakko, or Lafreniere get moved? There's a lot of moving pieces that go with that. Who's the guy that stays? Who's the guy that goes? Andrew Kopp stays. Ryan Strome goes. Ryan Strome stays. Andrew Kopp goes. That's how you win. You win with entry level deals and stuff like that. I gotta say, I'm still gonna say he makes the team because the Rangers have informed him that he makes the team. Doesn't really mean anything since they also kind of said to Vitaly Kravtsov how much he was in their plans, and Dryden Hunt was able to knock him off the roster. I'm just taking a breath and just letting everyone, including myself, think about that. Dryden Hunt, his play in the preseason is one of the reasons why Vitaly Kravtsov is not on this team. Everyone should feel bad about that statement, especially Vitaly Kravtsov. So that's like, you let Dryden Hunt take your spot? I know you were injured for a little bit, and you did have a goal in the final preseason game that looked very nice. But you're not showing something in practice, then you're not showing something. You go in for a job interview, you should be clean-shaven, looking like you're ready to go, even if I said right now, that's the way it should be. And you know what? I have no pity for him. I don't. Number one with this was Josh Ho-Sang. Josh Ho-Sang showing up late to Islanders practice. If there's a job that, especially in the NHL, and you're just going to show up late and say you overslept, oh, shut up. All right. Lauren, I agree with you. I don't think it's going to be easy as hell. I think it might be a short series. All the games are going to be good. The Rangers, the two games at MSG, when they had the changes, they dominated those games. Pittsburgh, you know what? You're still going against Crosby and Malkin. I still say Rangers at 5. I'm spoiling this because I'm going to be doing a first round preview, but it looks like it's going to be the Penguins. I'm on GAB, and round 2 is going to be tough as hell, though. Depends on who it's going to be. No matter what, the Eastern Conference has got every team over 100 points. They're all good. They're all good teams. Kravtsov is having a great year. I love the Godfather reference. Thank you. Really, Hunt was going to make the team, but as an extra forward. They kept Tenorti and Hayek over Kratzov. Yeah. 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 I know I'm still processing that statement, but David, 100%. I mean, I've said this before. The only Hayek I want to see around Madison Square Garden is Selma, and I'll see Selma Hayek anywhere. I mean, if you put her in a voting station, I'll go vote every single time. Doesn't matter who it's for. I'll also vote 15 times. That's another story too. Kratzov is gone for Winnipeg for Scheifele. There's going to be a lot more than that. None of us could spell anymore. Well, you guys have done a hell of a job typing, though. So, Granny, there's definitely a reason why your typing is gone. You're cramping. Oh wait, I actually skipped ahead because I had 2 comments. This team was much worse than last year's. Oh, sorry, I misread it. This team was much worse than this team. This team is much better than last year's team, which is a testament to Gallant. Yes, because that's what a good coach does. Hunt won because Turk has a history with Hunt. Yeah, also because they want more grit. But also look at what Hunt is. Hunt scored 4 goals this year. He's not exactly there. Rumor has it Scotty could be your assistant. Yeah, hey, Scotty could definitely come on with me every now and again. That would really help. And a matter of fact, I think I might get Scotty to come on, do some old times talking. If you guys don't know, Scott Meltzer, We Are Blue Shirt Nation. That was one of my former podcast partners at one time with our we did I think we did All Things Blue Shirts. That was the name of our podcast. One of our past podcasts, we actually interviewed Kenny Albert the day of the Ryan Callahan Marty St. Louis trade. So it was a great show. And it also, by the way, Kenny is still Kenny was fantastic. I couldn't say more about that one. If you can look that up, that is on iTunes. I do know that. So by the way, Selma Hayek looks great in her 50s. She's still smoking hot. Yeah. Scotty's been working a lot. That's been one of the problems for Scotty. So he's, yeah. Right. They started with less skill, but Gallant knows how to put a line together. And even though every great coach has got lineup decisions, Anthony couldn't figure out why Barry Trotz was putting Leo Komarov on the top line. They went to the conference finals. He couldn't figure out why, or Phil can't figure out some of the lineup things with Gallant. But a great coach knows how to not only put people in place to succeed, but get the buttons pushed to make them succeed. So that's what a great coach does. If Drury trades Georgie, Nemeth, and Hedel, and then that would enable him to re-sign Kopp, Mott, and Sammy B. That would be great. Because even if Sammy Blais is an extra forward or Mott is an extra forward, can you imagine a 4th line of Rooney, Mott, and Sammy Blais? Oh, my goodness. And Sammy Blais should be playing on this team right now. And it infuriates me because as much as I want PK Subban in an NHL studio right now for 2 reasons. One, he is such a great personality, great for the game of hockey, and great to grow it. And maybe he'll stop slew-footing everybody if he's in the studio. So, Vegas looks like they may regret the decision of getting rid of Gallant. And, yeah. Because Pete DeBoer, he's another guy. He's a guy with a shelf life, and it's getting around there right now. I was actually very much saying Vegas was going to miss the playoffs. I'm going to have to bring back the tape on that and say that. But I was around February. It looked like they were going to be assured a playoff spot, and now, no, it definitely ain't happening. So yeah, you're right about that one. So by the way, great picture too. That is a great picture. Well, yeah, trading Georgie wouldn't, because it's just his rights. Rooney does need to be re-signed, so that'd be another one. I think you could still get something for Georgiev's rights. I think somebody's going to try to step up and try to get him beforehand. It's not going to be much. I mean, everybody complains that the Rangers got back Sammy Blais and a second-round pick for Buchnevich. It was just his rights. In one of our first guest interviews that we ever had, Marty Biron talked about that, and I thought the return for Sam Reinhart wasn't that great. But as Marty said in his absolutely amazing French-Canadian voice, that that they have to sign him. I'm not going to do the impression, everybody. Don't worry about that, because that would actually be very, very insincere to be doing that right now. So, but no, Marty Biron, in my opinion, is one of the best hockey guys out there. Holy shit! Have I had some of my teeth this entire time? Nope. All right. Well. All right. So again, everybody, wow, you got me to stay on for another 20 minutes. Nice. So again, everybody, thank you very much for joining me today. We're going. If I have to do a solo show, I'm going to do a solo show. I hope I have the hockey Triforce all together, because it's better when all of us are together. So that's that. But if we got to do shows separate, hey, Phil has been doing it for a while. He took the initiative and he's been doing it for a while. But with the final score tonight, I'm going to say 4-2 Rangers. I think it could go 4-2 Canadians too, because I'm not sure if the Rangers are really motivated to play this game. But then again, you know what? Alexis Lafreniere, he's going to get up for the Canadians, and I think he's got a shot at 20 goals. Don't think that that's not a big number. He wants to get to 20 goals. So that's going to be good on that. So guys, again, thank you very much. We're going to get this on the audio podcast in about 30 minutes. If you have been listening, sorry about all the uhs for one thing. Sorry about all the silences in the middle of it. Thank you very much, Poppy, for donating today, and we are going to have more content for you. I'm going to be breaking down Chris Kreider's amazing career year that we've all been waiting for a while. And everybody, see you soon. Let's go Rangers. On to the playoffs. And still waiting for my keyboard to get on.